Warning, this podcast has some swears in it.
I'd rate it PG-13 at most, but let's just be on the safe side and say viewer discretion is advised.
Oh, hang on, my air conditioner's not off.
Oh. So you can melt for the next 2 hours or 3 hours?
Yeah, my fan is off because after the last podcast where you could hear the fucking fan in the background, I'm like, there's no fan going in this room ever again while the recording is happening.
My AC like turns on and off, but like luckily it's like in the roof, and I'm pretty sure the microphone doesn't like actually catch it. If it does, like I'll just do like a filter pass and like usually gets rid of it. But then there's just always
should be fucking.
What?
The microphone picks every fucking decibel of it up.
Yeah.
Air conditioner comes on.
Quinn's just fucking smoking, and I just hear beep. The most finest frequency where I'm like, where is it? I need to fucking get rid of it. I cannot get rid of it for the life of me.
Can't get away with shit around here, dude.
Yeah, I'm like,
microphone snitching.
Time to raise your blades, heroes.
And check some vibes.
It's the Heroes Blade Vibe Check.
Say it's a good thing we don't have Laz yapping in our ear this episode, because otherwise he'll tell us how treasures are better than blood tokens or some shit.
Yeah, I was talking to him about food tokens the other day.
Love you, Laz.
He was just like, why even bother, Cody? And I was like, it'd be a fun thing. I don't know, I'm just trying to figure out something.
The man, if I have no whimsy, that man truly has no whimsy in his heart. My God.
Completely devoid of it.
The button, Quinn.
This dude devoid of whimsy.
All right. All right. Oh, geez. How do I even start this episode? Like, how do we roll into it? Because that'll just be part of the B-roll
We
intro.
just fucking say that we're gonna lock the fuck in. We've got the gamers in the minecart or the roller coaster seat or the.
I don't think we can do
seat,
minecart. I don't think we can like.
Seat.
I don't think we can legally do minecart, and it booster seats borderline offensive. I am 6 feet tall.
All right. Let's strap in the fucking Formula One race car seats, my guy, for this high-octane Commander content.
That's right. It's high octane.
You gotta get the Speed Racer music going.
Speed Racer, I'm a demon on wheels. All right. We got the newly christened Combat-Trick Cody in for this episode. What's good? How's it going?
What's up? Thank y'all so much for having me.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
It is funny trying to schedule some guests that always kind of have someone attached to their like their hip, you know?
Yeah.
And there are times where I do want to get some guests on the one-on-one because I'm like, who are you without your podcast partner or your streaming partner or whoever, right? And in this case, it's like, well, the unfortunate thing is, in Laz's case, he's busy like being a dad or whatever and like not online at all. So like, all right, let's just bring Cody in because it's easy and we chat with you like all the time and you're over on Lexicon like pretty often. So this was easy to do and one we've been looking forward to for a while. So thanks for coming on through.
Yeah, I think luckily for me, it's like Laz is so like anti-social media. Like that man has a Facebook and that's it. Like he does not want to do anything else. And
so offline
you gotta
king.
respect it. Yeah, like you gotta respect it. Like I don't got Twitter. I just have Bluesky, but like he takes it to a next level where he's like, I don't care about any of that. Like if I have to schedule something for both of us, it's like 7 people are contacting me to get to him, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, play telephone the entire way down. It's like, for God's sakes, we're kind of in what I find really funny about being part of MTG Lexicon and chatting with the Legendary Creature Discord people and the hosts and then you kind of see like Bluesky in social media at large, and whatever you define as like community, right? Whether that's an isolated pocket or whatever, right? Is that like you have the people who are like, I've been in this so long that I've actually flipped the other way around and became functionally Zen Cole with 10 decks, and they're just like not, they don't talk to anyone, or if they do, like it's with very specific people. And then you got the other people who are like on that grind set of like, Spider-Man card just got previewed. I'm going to go on Twitch right now and talk about it. I'm like, oh, brother, please. Like, just leave it alone, you know? Like, my God.
I remember, like, very early on in us doing podcasting, we did the, like, top 5 Aftermath cards. And, like, it was, like, we got, like, 2
the top
listens.
5 cards of Aftermath. And it's like, yeah.
We got, like, 2 listens. And I was like, we are never doing that ever again.
The social media grind in terms of content creation, because like growth at this level, because like Magic is so oversaturated with people, and you really like pick and choose who you really like, because there could be some people who started within the last decade and you're just like, oh, like 10 years ago, like I loved the Command Zone, and now I'm like, I only love one person from the Command Zone, you know?
Yeah.
And when you think about, like, if there's so much content, what appeals to you, and you could just pick the ones you want and kind of just, like, leave the rest, right? But it is really funny, like, just having the whole, like, you chat with someone, they're like, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so, and, like, I know this Pro Tour, like, winner and everything. And you're just like, oh, like, you're really enfranchised and, like, locked in, right? And then you go play cards with your friends, and there's like 6 or 7 of you, and one of your friends is like, oh, I was in Seattle, and like I took a photo with Mark Rosewater, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's sick. And our other friend's like, who's the old guy? Like, who is that? And you're just like, you know, the person who like makes our cards, and he is like Richard Garfield for this era, the way like now Gavin Verhey's like now that person publicly. And they're just like, whoomst, and you're just like, yeah, all right, yeah.
Different
it's a bit
of investment.
Yeah. So, especially right now, like trying to get more followers. Like, I'm not putting that much effort in. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm just, hey, every couple weeks I put the links out. I'm like, hey, episodes out, and like, I'm not looking for infinite growth. There's only finite growth, and I'm pretty good where we're at right now. We get people be like, hey.
I've only ever wanted a like loyal internet following, and we've achieved that. And like if more people also would like to join that following, that's lit. Come through.
Yeah, come on through. Like we won't say no, you know. But like at the same time, it's like we've reached what arguably niche internet celebrity status within a certain subset of people, so we're just like, nah, we're good. But yeah,
it's tough though, because like as someone who like early on I was like, oh yeah, all about the grind, like let me get on every stream possible, but I got to meet a bunch of
that's so much effort.
Good people from, like, I met Quinn, I met you, Cole, I met Brian, I met Corey, like I met all these cool people like by doing that. But now like on the flip of it, we're like, we release a podcast every once a month, and like if we grow, like we had a conversation a few months ago, me and Laz, where I was just like, I don't really care if anything comes from it at this point. Like I'm just doing it because it's fun to get together with my friend and talk Magic, and there are people who like listening to that, which is cool.
Yeah,
enough that like we passed 10,000 listeners the other day, and I was like, this is insane.
Hey, which is great. Congrats.
Speaking of, congratulations. That's a fucking milestone.
Yeah, but like it was something we never thought would happen, but like here we are. But like, yeah, it's just kind of like there are a lot of people out there who like this is what they want to grind and do every day, and it's just not for me. I don't think. I think I'm cool just like being like the C or D list podcast host who's like,
yeah,
I'm cool with people, you know, like people talk to me every now and then, so I'm cool with that. So
well, that's exactly it, right? Like we talked about it on the bonus episode that we did on the 24-hour, actually, wait, the 25-hour stream that we did. which I'll go over that in just very briefly here, that we did do a fairly successful, very fun 24-hour stream over on MTG Lexicon. And outside of some like brief like audio and tech issues, was a pretty decent success. And a lot of people came through, and I think we still got a chunk of giveaways to still give away because there was the US only criteria, when like Lenny and Steven and like Fitz and those guys were playing at like the wee hours of the morning. The viewers were there, but they could not opt in because they were like, oh yeah, like I'm from like Australia or whatever, right? So we still got a few to give away, but I think overall it was a pretty good relative success, and I had fun playing D&D and everything. But back to the point of like we said that like on the last episode, we have a lot of fun, and we're pretty set like with what's going on. Like there's no big rush, there's no big deal, and like we get decent enough viewership, and we had people coming on and be like, yeah, Heroes Blade, woohoo, and you're like, it passes the check. I'm like, okay, great. That's exactly like, it's a funny little neat thing, right? And teenage me couldn't even believe getting like this far, and like, but also there'd probably be that part of younger me who'd be like, yeah, but why don't you have more, right? And it's like, because bro, I have like a 8 to 3:30 job. Like I'm not here to like, I have benefits, you know,
I'm paying rent every month.
I got cats I need to like kept fed, and like, and my girlfriend, I guess, like in a weird roundabout way, and all this other stuff. Like, I don't know. It's be thankful that you have a hobby that like also kind of expands into some form of creation, and people enjoy that creation, whether that's like, I couldn't think about the effort it would take to like sit down and make like a really edited tight YouTube video or something, you know, like when I'm trying to think of an example. Like I've only written a handful of things, and thankfully like Cal from Herald's Horn allowed me to get an article published on the Herald's Horn Substack before Substack decided to be a bunch of shitheads. And Cal's like, I gotta shift gears, I guess. They're shilling like AI and propaganda and whatever. Which, hey, by the way, Herald's Horn's coming back like I think this week or something. So like that's pretty sick. I'm very excited for them to get back in the hot seat, and they'll be like, fucking Spider-Man, what the fuck is this? But yeah, like content creation is what you make of it, and like if it really becomes a chore, then like it's just not worth the squeeze. And like you see so many people get burnt out like wildly, like insane. Like I was talking, when I was chatting with Mike from Am I the Boldcast, he's like,
just the casual name drop.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Just had to shift gears, right? And he's like, okay, well now we're doing it weekly. It's like, great, but like how do you change up the monotony? And he's like, well, now they're the mailbag, and now, which like that would lead into an article. And then they also have like the interview thing, which like, I think that's a great formula to have like those interviews, because I think everyone can bring something to the table, even if you have like the same guest shows up on 5 different things. Like everyone can ask like the right questions to kind of break everything up. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, you know, does it feel fresh and exciting enough for you? And do you like what you're making? And then that's probably good enough for you to just put it out into the world, right? Or you can just be 2 friends sitting around for a couple hours talking about a hobby, but then you kind of goof around a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like our new favorite thing after I roasted you and Laz the other week, where it's like, oh, look at these 2 white guys talking about magic.
I wanted to like, if we had more time before Atlanta, I was gonna like commission an artist to draw like me talking to like my girlfriend, and then be like, yeah, it's just a fun little bit. We talk about Magic.
Me and Laz talk about Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, but didn't have enough time, so maybe down the future.
That sounds like a very good commission. Definitely make that happen.
Yeah. So let's just take a brief moment. I want to check in with everyone because Quinn is playing Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
Let's talk about video games for a second.
I finished DMC 4 and then started DMC 3 and had a rough time in the beginning, but then realized that it was my controller that was the source of my anguish. We have since resolved that issue and are having a much better time playing that game.
Good.
And getting through the game at quite a decent pace now. I met Virgil on top of a really big tower, and we fought.
In the rain?
And then, yes, in the rain. It was peak. And then Dante got stabbed twice, and now shit's getting real. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
I love how
in these games, after they get stabbed, shit gets real.
Yeah, it turns out it's a plot point, and it has to happen every game somehow. Yeah. It happens in the shows, like it happens in the original anime run back in the early 2000s, and then it also happened in the Netflix version. They're like, Dante has to be stabbed at least once per game and or viewing or showing.
It's
and
just
sure
like
enough,
fucking Dragon Ball. Like if the Saiyan has a near-death experience, they unlock another level of power, and these demon boys do the same thing.
Yeah, except unfortunately it only really happens once, and then afterward it's just like age. Like they just get better over time. But yeah, so I'm glad you got there, because otherwise if you couldn't get back there after those other experiences, I would have been like shaking my head. Come on. You got the gamer. You got the gamer in you.
Action games are really hard if your controller is like 40% dead zones on the control stick.
Ooh,
that makes a lot of games pretty unfucking playable.
Yeah. I think so. With my girlfriend and I think we have like probably kind of an obscene number of like not Xbox 360, Xbox One controllers. Like I think I have 2 for myself, and then she has like maybe 4. And that was like you got some from someone or you bought them or like whatever, and then you just have a bunch of them. And I'm pretty sure like one of them has like some pretty egregious dead spots. But like our other main issue is just that like we run through micro USB cords like fucking toilet paper. Like it like it'll be like, oh, it's disconnected. I'm like, you fucking little piece of shit. No wonder we fucking phase you out to USB-C. I can't fucking believe you. And then I'm like, can I like take my controller apart and have the bit be swapped out for USB-C? And they're like, no. And I'm like, fuck. Like I need that in my life.
That's extremely fucking rough.
Yeah. Cody, what's going on with video games for you recently? I'm curious.
I've been in kind of like a dry patch because like I'm a huge like MMO nerd. And so I was on that like World of Warcraft classic, World of Warcraft in general grind with my brother. But then like we hit max level and everything got boring. So played a ton of Marvel Rivals, which caused one of my controllers to have a dead zone because turns out when you're flicking the sticks around, they break real easily. Right now, though, I think I'm really just waiting for Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
So, little backstory on me. I used to be a Twitch streamer, and I used to go by a loot goblin because I loved looter shooters and any games with loot. That was like my jam. And so, yeah, with Borderlands 4 is coming out like I think this week.
Geez. Okay, that's pretty soon. Damn.
September 12th, and I am like so pumped for it. Just
I love how the gamers get Silk Song and Borderlands 4. Like it's beautiful.
It's fucking peak.
But then we look over what's going on over at Bungie in Destiny 2. They just fucking got rid of 80% of its content. Holy fuck, dude.
you had shared that, and I was like, I just can't get into it because like that's
no, I know. I was like, someone's got to know way more than me because like I only played it very briefly in 2021 after the pandemic started, and my girlfriend and I played it for a bit. I'm like, I love playing as a warlock in that game. Like, I love how it controls. I love how everything feels. Like, I love how things are on cooldown and you're incentivized to like kind of get into that loop. But my issue with that game is, it's not Halo. It's not Halo where you have magic powers, right? Yeah. I'm like, I want my missions 1 through 10 or however many. Like, I haven't played Halo games consistently like some other people do, right? Where I'm like, where's my Halo Reach Destiny game?
Going back to the day.
Yeah, like Reach was just peak. Like it was so good, it felt good. I was like pulled at the heartstrings. It did everything.
Reach was
like
really good.
Like, you know, that was Bungie's kind of swan song for the series before they handed it off. And then 343's like, we're going to make Halo 4. And Halo 4 is like, to me, is fine. I know it was like way more offensive to like the Halo fans. And then by the time we hit, what the fuck was the last recent Halo? Halo Infinite or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, where it's like, okay, so now we're like back in the seat with Chief, and I don't know, I saw more cutscenes of that game than like I actually played it, where I'm like, this actually doesn't seem like terribly offensive, and I feel like there should be more story content. Mm-hmm. But like Chief being grounded and like him in like the pilot or whatever in that game, where I'm like, yeah, like this is Chief. This is his humanity while also being a super badass like space soldier and everything. But I'm just like, oh man, Destiny 2 requires you to play with other people. This fucking sucks. This is terrible.
Seems like a you problem there, Cole. You actually can play a lot of Destiny 2 just solo and never talk to anybody. It's mainly the raids and stuff that you need other people.
Well, no, and then I'm like, I can't do a bunch of those like raids by myself because they're not just made for one person. If you do it by yourself, you either need to be playing on point or get some stupid overpowered weapon or whatever, and then whatever, right? And I'm just like, oh, that requires way too much effort. And then there's like that indie studio that made Witchfire, which was like heavily inspired by like Destiny 2, and I was like, oh, this feels like I'm playing a fucking warlock with a shotgun. This is fucking sick. And then they're like, oh, we got more updates coming out. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go back and play that. So like, you know, I just like, if it's not Magic the Gathering or Monster Hunter and it requires to play with like other people, like I don't want it in my life. And then they tear out 80% of the content. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
So I think what they did was, so last year they had, they're like, hey, this is the end of a 10-year saga storyline called Final Shape.
Yeah.
It was, I know we use this word a lot lately, it was peak. Like, it was like, holy.
Absolute cinema.
Absolute fucking cinema. Like, it was amazing. It was like the, like, send-off for that. Because, like, here's the thing with Bungie, is like, it was like, they released a yearly expansion, and it was like, they would shit the bed, they would do really good. They would shit the bed, they would do really good. And so, but then they shit the bed 2 years in a row. And it was like, oh no. Like, they've never done that. Usually there's like a really good year and then like a you know. And so Final Shape was coming out and it was like, oh, is this going to be terrible? And I don't know what they did, but they locked the fuck in and it was peak. And it was like a great send off to like this like 10-year story that like I only got in like 4 years in. Like I didn't start playing Destiny 1 until like the last year it was on PlayStation 3 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just really cool to like experience that. But then going back to it recently, you know, they kind of gutted that team. Like a lot of people got let go, and then like they were just like, hey, we're working on another game.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so what they did in this most recent expansion was they introduced this like kind of like Diablo. I don't know how familiar you are with that game. Like grind to
I've heard of it.
Okay, you start at 0, work your way up to like 500. But the best way to do it is to go through this content portal. It's actually just a straight up portal. But what they did was like 80% of the content that's in the game doesn't show up in that portal at all.
Yeah.
And so it's just like limits what you can get to. There's always been a main social hub called the Tower where like you would load in and you would see other players and like
you'd see like, other players running and skipping and dancing and emoting around all over the place.
Now it's like hidden behind like 3 pages of bullshit. And
what
so you load in and there's no one there. So it's like, okay, it's just a barren wasteland of a game. Like you queue up with people, but like I don't know. It sucks because like it is like literally one of my favorite video games of all time. Like I love the lore, but it's sad to say that like
Edge of Eternity is it's kind of sort of like that's the thing I'm mentally thinking of. Where I'm like, you are basically playing as space paladins.
Yeah.
but like then you get the I'm gonna be the OG Spartan from Halo, and then I'm also gonna be the sniper dude with a bunch of knives and double jumps, and then you have literal space warlocks with like void powers and whatever, and I'm like, this is it's peak.
Cool.
It's so cool. It's really fucking cool. And then it's like they just kind of, but then it has like the backdrop of like, well, it's kind of like an MMO collaborative like play experience where like you have all these things that you have to do to have that replayability or the continuing to play the game, and you're just like, oh, now we're hitting that tedium, you know. And then they start gutting things like, oh geez.
Yeah, it's sad, and like I know there are people who still really love the game, and like I would love to fall back in love with that game, but I think like after that 10-year mark with the last expansion, I think I'm okay. I think I'm good to.
Yeah, you know what? I put my controller down.
Yeah, it's like I think I'm all right. Yeah. So
we're saluting to your fully.
Mm-hmm. I think the only other like game or franchise that, again, like I brought up Monster Hunter, and that's like the only one where I'm like, I kind of have that sort of like cult mentality to like keep with it, you know? Like, I think Capcom does such a good job with it. And like they have the moments of like, okay, so here's the A team Monster Hunter, and then here's the B team Monster Hunter games. And then like you can kind of pick and choose which one you kind of prefer, because they're kind of like either piggybacking off each other or kind of like changing up the formula just enough to be like, oh, hey, Monster Hunter Rise, you have a ninja dog, and you can ninja run up walls, and you can change your movesets to like suit your preferences. And then you're like, well, that's actually like super sick. Like, I love that. And other people are like, no, I don't like this because like everything's like too fast. And like, well, it was made on the Switch. And I'm like,
that was me. I tried it. I tried the demo for it on the Switch, and I was like, I'm good. And I loved World a lot. Like, I loved World so much, but I was like, I can't do this.
I don't know. I started playing Gunlance in Rise and then Sunbreak, and it was like over. Like, I was locked in for that whole thing, and it got really good after they did the expansion. Like, as usual, when it comes to like Iceborne and like technically speaking, like 4 Ultimate and Generations Ultimate and all that other stuff, like they managed to kind of like bring everything together if they're given enough time. And that's like the thing about games right now, and maybe even Magic the Gathering a little bit, is that the turnaround time for a product is too short, or the executives or the producers are like dropping the fucking ball because someone's yapping in their ear about how they have to get the game out by like fucking Christmas or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get like Cyberpunk 2077 or any of these games that are just like half cooked. And then you need the studio to basically like pull a swan song and like bring it back around. And it's like, I wouldn't mind a Monster Hunter that had the scale and scope of Rise and Sunbreak because of like technical limitations, because I'm not saying like my computer's a potato, but most people's computers are a potato nowadays. So it's like, I want 20 games that are like 10 gigabytes each to sit on my drive, rather than the one game that's like 150 gigabytes, Baldur's Gate 3 excluded. That like, great, I can play all these games comfortably, and it's not going to break the bank. It's not going to break my drive, and I can get in and get out, and it looks decently enough. But everyone's like, but my graphics, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then the games take like forever to come out. So like, the fact that Silk, like going back to like Silksong for a second, like it took them forever to make it. And the studio said, yeah, you know what? We had a good time making it. And then everyone's like, oh my God, what if we just do that and take a bit longer? Like, I wouldn't mind. Everyone's talking like, we got XYZ thing before Grand Theft Auto 6, And like, I'm sure Grand Theft Auto 6 is just going to be fucking insane. Like, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good. And then we'll do it all over again, in like another decade.
Yeah,
but
there's always the next high that people are chasing.
Yeah. So this is where I'm saying, this is where I come in to say I went back and playing Fallout New Vegas again, and my fucking God, that game is fucking dated. Holy shit. I'm like, I'm walking at a snail's pace. Why can't I sprint? Where's all my modern quality of life? Well, if you get the sprint mod, you have to like use a keyboard. I'm like, fuck no, I bought a controller for a reason.
Can you just fucking roleplay?
Roleplay like I'm a freaking senior citizen in the wasteland? Like, come on. I'm not geriatric. I don't need a walker to get around. I just need to go, you know?
This dude is not roleplaying.
No, I don't. No, I don't have fucking time for that. I have dudes to kill.
Why are you going back and playing New Vegas then? Like, what is the point?
I'm going to pick up the role-playing Fallout and not roleplay? What?
I don't know. I'm going to be a good person, and then that's going to be it. And that's the roleplay. The roleplay is I go and kill a bunch of fiends, and I tell House to go fucking shove it up his mutant ass, and I go up to Kaisar and be like, oh, hey, by the way, you have brain cancer, and also shove it up your ass, and then Boone kills him, and then we're good, you know? But, I don't know.
That was like 20 spoilers wrapped in a one-sentence paragraph.
Spoilers for like a 20-year-old game, or well, no, not a 20-year-old game. What's it, like 15?
All those people
wanting
wanting to go back and play it before the new season of the show.
Look, I'll just go. I'll just go. I'll just
go
play Fallout 4
replay
again.
in when the Magic the Gathering Fallout set came out. I don't know what to tell you.
Fair.
Yeah, but I was playing Fallout 4. That's what I was doing.
You were supposed to replay this series to prepare for this. Were you not?
I'm not.
Attention?
Quinn, I want you to play Fallout 1 for me.
I actually could do that.
Oh wow.
Don't do
okay.
it. Don't do it to yourself.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'll just follow a guide very closely.
Is it?
Quinn's character is gonna walk out into the wasteland, take a shot at someone,
instantly.
and then just explode.
Yeah.
Like just.
And I'll be like, well, that was fun.
I fight a rat in a cave, and the rat won. Game over. Well,
never open the game again.
Just wipe my hands of this, and we're all just good to go.
Like,
anyway,
I'm
video games are
Final
fun.
Fantasy 2 right now. I can do this.
You're playing Final Fantasy 2? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What, like it's hard?
Well, no, I was going to be like, I thought you were playing Final Fantasy 4. Did you finish that?
I'm also doing that, yes.
Oh my god,
damn.
multi-game drifting.
Yeah, I have a Game Boy Advance SP, I remembered, and then I was like, wait, hang on, I have free will. So I booted up my copy of Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls and restarted Final Fantasy 2, and also picked up my progress on Final Fantasy 4. And we have been to the moon and back and fought the Giant of Babel, smashed the CPU core in the middle of it, and now we're going back to the moon so that we can finish this.
Wow, it's finally happening.
Yeah, we're in the end game.
I just find it so funny that like you'll just talk about Final Fantasy and then we smashed its computer, the computer core.
And I'm
like, that is part of the course of
yes.
it's Final Fantasy. That checks out.
It's swords, it's sorcery, and also there's a giant war mech.
Yeah, yeah.
Checks out.
Video games are fun. Don't let me yap in your ear and tell you video games are bad, because they are good. It's just that the people at the very top end of the creative process, aka the shareholders, are the ones that are the problem.
Yeah, they're ruining everything for everyone. So anyway, Spider-Man.
Let's talk about Spider-Man. Oh, all right. So they got the full preview thing out for Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah, whole set just dropped.
The new standard set. Let's talk about a few vibe checks, but let's also get some new Snap-on equipment chats. Let's get that out of the way. We got two of them here that I immediately locked on in. Doc Ock's tentacles and bioorganic carapace. Quinn, let's talk about Doc Ock's tentacles first.
Yeah, the tentacles are an artifact equipment for 1 generic mana, and whenever a creature you control with mana value 5 or greater enters, you may attach this equipment to it. Equipped creature gets +4/+4, and it has equip 5, but I'm never going to activate that because when Dragonhawk enters the battlefield, she's automatically going to pick up the tentacles.
Yep. If this was a reason for you to play a big mana commander, this is it.
Hell yeah, dude, my 5-drop slot looking stacked. I can't wait to play this.
Yeah.
Bro, Karazakar with the tentacles, get fucked. My 9/9 eyeballs coming in.
I'm not saying it's like too tricky for me to like think of a deck to put this in. But once I figure it out, I will let you know, and it will be insane. A 1 mana equipment that gives just straight up +4/+4.
Bro, Aclazotz? I'm getting in there.
Shut up. Oh my god. Yeah, it's gonna be cracked. Cody, do you think you got a deck in mind for this?
The original one for me is Tavash, because it's 5 mana, it drops it, and it becomes an 8/8 with lifelink, which then can turn around and make an 8/8 demon.
Yeah, you're perfect.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, yeah.
The other thing is I love how flavorful this is, because every Doc Ock card in Spider-Man can auto-equip
big.
to this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
That's
mono
awesome.
blue one, the 2 Demir ones. Like,
Oh, do they all have like 4 power too? Is this what gets them up to 8?
Ooh.
I think they all kind of go across the board in terms of power and toughness, but let's take a look.
I think that would be very funny.
I know the mono blue one becomes an 8/8 if there's 8 or more cards in your graveyard. The Demir one that gives your villains +2/+2 is a 4/8. And the one from the like scene border card, I think might
That
be
isn't. That's a 7 mana 8/8.
Yeah.
Doc Ock Sinister Scientist is a 5, so he becomes a 8/9 with it equipped. I don't know. I mean, it's 4 extra limbs, so +1/+1 for each of them. So like, sure.
I'm
Like, I don't
definitely
know.
thinking about Dr. Octopus Master Planner. This is the guy who the tentacles are intended to work with, because he's 4/8, and then you pick up the tentacles and become the 8 power.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I think it's just it rewards you for purposely playing like high power creatures, which like if you do that in general and you may or may not have like equipment or a artifact like sub theme, like this definitely fits in. I probably might put this in like my Imskir deck is what I'm thinking, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, that seems good.
I'm not entirely sure where else I would want to put this, that if the thing wasn't already just like a giant 5+ mana flyer or something, but I'd have to think about it. Speed Demon? Could put it on Speed Demon.
Oh, fuck, dude. Speed Demon? Hell yeah. Get in there.
Yeah. The second one we got here is the Bioorganic Carapace. 2 white and a blue for an equipment that says when it enters, attached it to target creature you control. The creature gets +2/+2 and has, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card for each modified creature you control with an equip for 2. Modified is pretty easy to do. So yeah, this thing's fucking sweet. Oh no, it's in Azorius. Boo-hoo.
This is extremely a card for the Esper Catboy.
Ra-Dune Hagadune's like, yes, give it to me. Yeah. It's pretty good. What do you think about this one, Cody?
I think it's great. I mean, the auto equip is really nice, but then like Azorius has a lot of equipment commanders just in like Esper and Azorius. So like, yeah, this is gonna like definitely put in some work, draw you a lot of cards. And even if it like gets removed or the creature gets removed from, the equip 2 isn't really that bad. So I mean,
yeah,
I think the equip 2 on that is crucial. A lot of things like this have an expensive equip ability to sort of balance how powerful the equipment ability is. But equip 2, that's reasonable as fuck.
Yeah.
So pretty exciting in terms of the Hero's Blade adjacent kind of cards that we want to be looking at. Do they fit everywhere? No, which is kind of nice, but at the same time, you're rewarded for kind of leaning in on what they ask of you, and for some of it, it's pretty easy to do. Let's talk about some spider people vibe checks, or some spider people here. Cody, let's start you off with a vibe check for us.
Yeah, so I have Scarlet Spider Ben Riley. It's 1 red and a green for a... hold on, I don't actually have the card in front of me. I wasn't
Legendary
prepared.
creature, Spider Human Hero.
Yeah. Let me see.
With web slinging red and green, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Hold on. So web sling is one of those new things that they decided to throw in here. You can cast a spell for its web slinging cost if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. Why are you going to have a tapped creature? I don't know. We'll find out.
So my original idea with this is like turn 1, Mana Dork, turn 2, Hero's Blade, turn 3, you drop this bad boy down. For the web slinging cost, he gets a +1/+1 counter from the Mana Dork. He picks up the blade, and he's an 8/7 with trample on turn 3. That is pretty spicy.
Coming in fucking hot. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Probably gonna need some removal, but you at least got to do the cool thing, you know?
Yeah. No. Like, I haven't really looked at all the legends of this set yet. Like, I've been keeping an eye on some, and like I did my red-white card search and was like, wow, there's like nothing for Bloodrick in this set. Oh well, moving on. But like the web slinging cost reducers and some of the legends are like actually kind of stacked this set. Kind of looking forward to see how they hold some swords when we see him hit the battlefield, because I think some of them really do work super well with this. And I mean, hey, this fits right in your trample. Your Gruul trample deck there.
It does, yeah. I'm pretty excited about that.
Sweet. Hell yeah.
Also, like the best look from the 90s in comics, like the blue hoodie on the red
fucking
suit.
cutoff hoodie that looks so sick, dude.
It's so good.
I really dig superhero looks where it's like the costume, whether it's like skin tight spandex or whatever, but with like something over top of it. Obviously like Spider-Man Noir is an example. Anytime they do like Batman period pieces where like they'll put Batman in like a trench coat.
Oh yeah.
Or something.
Sick, yeah.
And you're like, that looks fucking awesome. You should do more of that more often.
I really like the Miles Morales look of the
Jordans
Air Force Ones and the hoodie and the all of that, plus the spider suit. That looks good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Quinn, what do you got for this episode?
I've got for you Norman Osborn. He's a legendary creature scientist, I think, with some other types. Let me get this guy.
Human scientist villain.
Yeah, human scientist villain. First things first, can't be blocked, so jot that the fuck down. Secondly, whenever Norman Osborn deals combat damage to a player, he connives, and you can spend 1 and blue, black, red to transform Norman Osborn at sorcery speed. He transforms into Green Goblin, a legendary creature, human villain goblin, with flying and menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and goblin formula. Each non-land card in your graveyard has mayhem. The mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. Hey, you can't block Norman Osborn, so I'm getting in there, dude. Plus 3.
No kidding.
Absolutely.
The fact that you can also cast him for his just Green Goblin sign straight up. Yeah. Just be like, I don't need Norman. I can just straight up cast this guy, and he does what you want him to do. He's flying and menace. Like, that's so fucking awesome as a combination.
Yeah, you can usually get in with flying and menace. I do prefer the unblockable, just like straight up, this isn't a conversation.
I think of a lot of these, the like MDFC legendary creatures in this set. I think this one and the Venom one are like 2 of the best ones for like, I don't really care too much about the front, but like the backside is just like so cool.
It's just really good. Yeah.
But this one, like, it does have such a good, you can't block it, and the conniving is really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all the neat little things to kind of synergize together. And then if you get that chance to like have that enough mana to like flip Norman around, and then after you had connived, you can cast something like on top of it. Like, it's a cool design. I need to see more of what Quinn is up to, because I am afraid.
It's putting knives on Norman mostly, and then maybe late game I find a way to do a lot of self-wheeling, and the Goblin does the card advantage and ramp with that.
Awesome. All right, I got one here. Sun Spider Nimble Webber. 3 and a hybrid Azorius for a spider human hero. That's a 3/2. Uncommon, just a note. During your turn, Sun Spider has flying, so we got that sort of pseudo Dragoon templating that seems to be showing up here and there. When she enters, search your library for an aura and equipment card, reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. So you have the blade in hand, you play it, you play her. She's a 6/4, great. Flying on your turn, awesome. You can find the blade on the ETB, and then cast it, and then you're probably playing some kind of Azorius Flicker deck because very much like Boros equivalent carcinization, we have Azorius Flicker carcinization, and Sun Spider fits into that super duper well. She's a super card that I can't think of off the top of my head that's very popular. That searches for just equipment or just
Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, Cloud. It's like super Cloud. Yeah, Cloud and Stoneforge Mystic, like just basically super version of that without the ability to like put it out into play, which I think is still fine. 4 mana for a 3/2.
Gonna put that in the package on Moxfield labeled EDH Stoneblade along with those 2 cards and then the Sword of Hearthenome, so that we can do the thing where you find that guy and get the sword, flicker them with that sword, and find another sword that actually starts your game plan.
Yeah. I feel like considering, like, obviously the obvious answer is yes, it seems pretty good. Built-in synergy with either auras and equipment I think is super great, and I feel like it's up to people and players of making sure that if they run her as a commander, you're not making it too homogenous. But I think she just passes the check with flying colors, no pun intended.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Cody, what's your other check here?
My other one is Symbiote Spider-Man. This is a 2 and a Dimir hybrid for a Symbiote Spider Hero legendary creature. It's a 2/4. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library and then put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. It has a second ability, Find New Host for 2 and a Dimir hybrid. Exile this from your graveyard. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. It gains this card's other abilities. Activate only as a sorcery. So with the blade, this becomes a 5/6. So you get to look at more cards. And I think this one fits really well for like a look at cards, pitch them to your graveyard, reanimate them later kind of strategy. The only reason I could think this won't pass the vibe check is because it has no keywords giving it evasion. But I think we can definitely get a couple, like any of the Swords of X and Y. There is the wing boots that give it like flying and ward 4. So like definitely ways we can get this guy over or past people to start like filling up our graveyard.
Yeah.
Sure.
Neat design on the second half of just being like, we will make something else Symbiote Spider-Man like the first half of the text, which is like, I think a great use case, and also a great way to get like that extra mileage out of a commander that might die and be like, I do want it in the graveyard so I can exile it, put it back in the command zone, make this thing it on top of whatever else is going on. The lack of natural evasion really is kind of killer in this case, but we can figure it out. We're in Dimir. It's easy.
I think we're going to see a lot of cool stuff out of Symbiote Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to him.
Yep, I am waiting. I'm waiting to see what people come cooking cooking with. I don't know. What's going on in the kitchen? Oh dear God,
there's black goo everywhere.
It's goop. It's everywhere.
Speaking of goo.
Speaking of goo, indeed, I have Carnage Crimson Chaos for you, a legendary creature symbiote villain for 2 black and a red. He's a 4/3 with trample, and when Carnage enters, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains this creature attacks each combat if able, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, sacrifice it. It's got the mana cost of red and black. This guy passes the vibe check to me easy. He's got an enter the battlefield ability, which means we want to be doing the thing where we re-trigger that via either scams or actual blink or returning it to your hand and recasting it, whatever you gotta fucking do. he'll pick up the blade every time. He's also got trample, and he's 4 power, so I'm immediately looking at a 7/5 with trample. Like, you're not ready for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of pretty straightforward. But in terms of the fact that Carnage can bring something back and not stick the kind of obnoxious finality counter on it, they're just like, well, if it hits, it's gonna die anyway. You're like, oh, I can work with that a lot easier than just
you have to sacrifice it. Oh no, then I have to put it in my graveyard where I can reanimate
do it again.
It again.
Yeah. Mayhem also kind of just at the end of this thing, where you like in the 99, if you're looking away, just like discard it and cast it for its Mayhem cost. That the Grixis discard tech is looking a lot better these days.
Yeah, you draw 2 cards, you discard Carnage and some other bullshit that you want reanimated, and then you reanimate Carnage with the Mayhem cost. And shit's looking good.
This is pretty awesome. My last one, oh, that's not what's supposed to happen. Get that out of there. Last one, it's Morbin time.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
Morbius the Living Vampire. The only thing that really matters off this thing is just the 3 keywords. Is Flying Life, Link, and Vigilance. We got a 4 mana, 3/1 Vampire Scientist villain that's 2 blue and a black. So just straight up, I'm like, great. So it's a 6/3. It's a little more squishy, but those are 3 pretty dang good keywords. And then the other thing tacked on top of it is blue-black. Exile this card from your graveyard. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, and the rest in your in the bottom of your graveyard in any order. Yeah, okay, sure. It's a body with 3 keywords in a color that kind of likes it. It's not a Vampire Nighthawk because it doesn't have Death Touch, but like we have the technology. But also you literally cast, like, very much like how we were talking about Shadow from the Secret Lair, and you saying like you have to say Chaos Control every time you do the effect. You have to say it's Morbin time. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. You have to do it.
All right, hear it here, folks. Jot that down.
Jot it down. Other than that, I think there's quite a few legends in the set that would love to carry the blade, but I think we got a pretty good spread of them for this one. So congratulations, everyone. We did a good job. We'll talk about, like, you know, Dragonstorm Legends or whatever next episode, so we kind of make up for what we've been up to here in case anyone's like mentally checked out. Let's go over to the one comment that we got for this episode. Quinn, if you could read that out for us.
Yeah, shout out to Uncharismatic Bard, who says, the Leviathan deck sounds fun. Everyone could use more whimsy in this game. Well, also, I love the soapbox. A lot of good points. Gotta say, every deck I build gets at least a couple ways to fuck with people's graveyards. Been burned too often.
Yeah,
true, bestie.
I should definitely do the same. I'm slowly learning my lesson here, and I think that new colorless card from Edge of Eternities that gives you a lander token and exile something, that could be the answer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. DJ Space Girl, do you got something for us this week?
Yeah, here's something. What the fuck is up, Spacelings? DJ Space Girl back at it again on the wax, coasting off the shockwaves of a supernova, straight basking in that afterglow. This week I'm gonna spin something special for you. A track about closeness and eye contact, and creating an entirely new context of existence. This is Eclipse's Minds Aglow. Say hello.
It was a banger, I'm sure. I don't know what it is until we go to the editing booth, but it will be sick.
Okay, I was like, are we supposed to hear something? I don't know what's happening.
Are we supposed to? No, I'm not going to hit the. We're not going to hit the button and it magically turns on. But sometimes, Cody, you know what the really cool thing is that sometimes you don't know when Quinn's going to proactively give you something.
Oh, okay.
Or when Faye's going to reactively give you something, and then you kind of have to like figure it out afterward.
Yeah.
Quinn's like, I have been inspired by this beautiful, amazing, gorgeous, fantastic, wonderful, it's peak cinema thing. And I'm like, oh, great. Can't wait to get that. And then sometimes I'm like, please, Faye, I want some more. And Faye's like, yeah, I guess.
Whack beats only this week.
Yeah. I love when you're like, I'm like, hey, do you got like I think it was last episode or the one before, I'm like, do you got something? You're like, no, whack beats only. I'm like, the fuck does this mean? What?
Sometimes it's only whack beats. I don't know what to tell you, but you gotta keep making them because you get through that to the good beats afterwards.
Nah, true. I don't know, Quinn, you've got a backlog of bangers, so like, don't sell yourself short. All right. Let's talk about content. I got a couple things for this week. So our good old pair relationship friend reminder text had a new quote unquote new, not really new guy on the block. He's at like 42,000 subscribers now. Makes a bunch of budget decks, and this one was really funny because he's like, wow, these Spider-Man packs are so fucking expensive. I'm gonna make a $35 Spider-Man deck around a Street Fighter character. So I was just like, what? All right, you have my attention. Yeah, I don't know. It's a $35 budget spider deck where you play a bunch of spiders in Selesnya, and I don't know. I think,
with doll sims, so you can draw cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
You can get your in-universe version if you want, but you can just live your Street Fighter dreams where someone has stretchy rubber arms. Yeah,
I keep thinking about Abzan spiders with the one of the Baitors from Dragonstorm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see it. Untap your spiders for blocks.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see it. You could play Ishkana and
the Shelob.
That's it. No, I'm kidding. The spiders deck being encroached by the Spider Men and women and theys and thems of the MCU. Well, not the MCU, but yeah. Still, budget lists always have their place, and whenever this guy cooks something up, especially what was the? I know we've talked about his stuff before, like in passing. He did the last one that he did was Sir Vondam Sunstar Exemplar.
Oh, I just watched that the other day. I forgot about it.
Emperor Palamecia.
That was a good one too.
He's had some really good episodes.
Yeah, Levon and Sword Coast Sailor to just fucking annihilate someone. I don't know. Budget decks, like he's only got 9 videos out right now. And yet, he's literally doing a video approximately a month. Like, so yeah, like you want your monthly budget deck content. That's pretty high quality stuff. I would encourage you to go check that out. And then the LCP boys got an episode out. Andy worked really hard on an episode called Anatomy of a Killer, where he goes over the 4 Voltron styles, where one is actually Voltron and the rest it's commander damage centric, but the 4 styles around achieving that goal. And he freaking burnt the midnight oil trying to figure out like how to like present it all, because there's some of them are just so like non-conventional, because we're just so used to the vernacular of just like, yeah, just a Voltron deck. Okay, but like what else do you do rather than just smack people in the face? And then what are the qualities that you look for in a card that what is its special qualities to like fit within those designations and everything. And I was just sitting there like, when the concept came up, and then when the Voltron like sub channel opened up and everything, I was just like, what the fuck is going on here? I need to know. Something about the artifact omnibus like awoke something in Andy. And I think Quinn, you had something to do with it. So good job.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have had that level of impact on a gamer's deck building trajectory.
Yeah. He messaged us last night, actually. Just like, Ayesha took another win. And we're just like, yeah, woohoo, right? Like, it's just like, you're like, it's fucking midnight. Like, what is going on here?
Fucking church, dude.
Church heaven, yeah.
Don't doubt the pious ones.
Yeah. So I was like, oh hell yeah, as I'm like sniping heads off in New Vegas when I got the message. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I love like heavy episodes like that from them, because like it's one of those ones where like you listen to it once and you're like, I think I kind of get what they're talking about.
I gotta go back for a second pass, you know, like let me get
listen 3 for me before I was finally like, I get what they're cooking. I get it now. It's all kind of clicking in place. I love those episodes so much from them.
And just to go back to the earlier point I was saying earlier about how it's like, you know, with the mass amounts of content in Magic's in like the Magic sphere, it's like, okay, what do you want out of your media intake kind of thing? And it's like, I do want those really in-depth discussions about like thinking or engaging with the game from a different trajectory than what you're kind of used to. Like, I'm very much stuck in my ways. I always joke like, oh, I'm not a control player, but actually secretly I am, with my new non-foil copy of Lauren Searing Light to get Quinn again.
No, not again.
You know, what's that version? What's that copy going to go into? I don't know, but I'll let you know. But like, what does everyone bring to the table, and what those guys do within the scope of their play group is so interesting, because they're like, why do we play this game, and what are our thoughts on this, and what is like the psychological side of it, right? Because then and then you look at me and Quinn being the two goofballs being like, so what happened to you in the last 2 weeks? And you're just like, well, I played the new set on Moxfield, and I'm like, cool, I have once again retweaked a deck for the 100th fucking time, and this is the end result, and it was still sick as fuck. And then we shake hands at the end of the episode saying, wow, Magic is really cool, let's do it again in 2 weeks. And that's every episode. And yet people still come back as we do, because
yeah, like, it's very reductive to say it like that, but it's lit. We have fun.
I just think, like, again, everyone's got their niche, and Andy and Kyle's thing is just the absolute love and care of this game and their games with each other and their friends, but also like the cerebral, like, they got Andy in particular. Like, I know Kyle's got a Mill episode coming out where he's like, where's Mill like now in 2025, especially with like Final Fantasy and all this other stuff that came out, where it's like Mill per life or like whatever, right? But like, what's Mill like now? And I know that like Kyle's gonna have that itch in his brain to like get it down on paper and like try to figure it out, and then Andy is gonna like be in the back for like the next 3 months where something's like just killing him, and he's just like, what do I do? What do I do about this? I need to consult the texts and the council to fucking figure it out. And then he brings a thesis statement for a 2.5 hour episode, and he's like, I have it here. And I'm like, yes, thank you. You've saved my life. Like, you know, like the fucking camel in the desert, like, I owe you my life, you know? This is
Podcast
so
good.
Yeah, podcast good. Go listen to Legendary Creature Podcast. It's a good time. Give them your money. Okay, let's do brews off the shelf now, but let's start off with the Captain Howler roundtable discussion. Cody, you were a new initiate.
Yeah. I fucking love this guy.
Welcome.
He's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cody, all right, let's start off with this. I just want to establish something really quick because I was talking about it when you were on. I saw you playing on stream. Well, you were playing with me and you were playing Captain Howler then. We were playing with Donnie and Jen, and I was joking at the time where I'm like, well, an EDH rec, Captain Howler just got over 7,000 decks and you pushed it over the edge. And that was the joke, right? Because if we're looking at the top commanders of all time on EDH rec as a resource, right? Like, we're looking at stuff that's like 38,000 decks, 37,000 decks, right? I think it kind of goes without saying that Captain Howler being as popular as he is at six or 7,000 like lists shows like what kind of deck he is. But I don't think, unless maybe over the course of time that draw and discard effects get like monumentally better, I don't think he's ever going to reach that point. He's not hipster rate, but he's not like will be crushing tables just through sheer value kind of thing. And I'm kind of glad that Aether Drift did manage to have like some banger legends, and he's going to be like kind of up there as like the echelon of like in the command zone, absolutely bonkers, in the 99, like great role player. But let's talk about Captain Howler as the commander. And Cody, what has your experiences been with this guy?
Yeah, what drew you to this sexy shark man?
Well, the fact that he's a sexy shark man, for one.
For sure.
Okay, I think I'm the only one here that wasn't involved in that decision.
I mean, look at that guy. Look at that chest and that cannon and the cute little pirate shorts. I mean, you know.
Ding, ding, ding.
So it's so interesting because, like, I don't know how it works for you guys, but, like, whenever, like, previews are happening, we have a group, like, chat, and it's usually people like, oh, that's my commander for the set. And so our buddy Mike actually saw Captain Howler and was like, that's my guy. And so I was like, cool. Don't even got to worry about Captain Howler. He's like, way in the back. And then Mike disappeared for like 6 months. And I was like, cool. I guess Captain Howler's back on the table. And so I had that Octavia deck that I was really enjoying, but like, I wanted to like kind of separate myself from the other two mono blue token decks at the table. And I liked the aspect I was going for with the unblockable creatures, because like I have like the Blighted Agent, the Azure Beastbinder, tons of other ones, the Shoreline Looter, things like that. And so I was like, well, what can I do to like, you know, take those creatures and still like pump them? And I was just scrolling through EDH Rec, and I was on Is It, and I was like, and I saw Captain Howler, and I was like, that's it. Like, that's, you know, I can discard cards, pump something up a ton, and then draw cards when they hit because they're unblockable. And that really would kind of like was the first like kind of thought process in my head. I was like, that, you know, that's cool game plan. And so I started like pulling cards together, and I played it that first night, and it was just like, oh, I'm sold. This is so cool. Because like, there's just so many like cool things you can do.
So let's give context to what Captain Howler is. We got Mr. Sea Scourge here, 2 blue and a red for Shark Pirate, 5/4 Ward, pay 2 generic and pay 2 life, which is like, all right, not just Ward 2. I can get behind that. A little bit of extra pain in there. And then whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. For each card discarded this way, and then whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, you draw a card. With the finicky nuance of, if you discard 5 cards, you're giving +10/+0, but when that creature deals damage, you only are drawing 1 card because it is the one instance of that effect, versus you spread that around, or you create separate little one-off instances. You can then stack that draw, which is like great. I love doing that. The also added benefit of just target creature gets +2/+0. There is no clause for only your creature, which means you can get up to some absolute fucking bullshit. I was in the market for an Is It deck and was like, damn, I could get behind this. And I can't remember exactly if I took anything. Oh, no, I took apart my Red Death deck for this. And I was like, okay, so Red Death is really tricky because you're giving your opponents resources and you're goading your opponent's stuff to get mana. But what are you doing with the mana? And is the goad effect enough deterrent? While also still giving your opponents resources, which you're only giving one card. It's not the end of the world. But then I'm like, but wait a minute. What if we take the premise of goading your opponent's creatures with Captain Howler and then just make people punch each other in the face really fucking hard? And lo and behold, the end result is, and I'm kind of like skimming across our three respective decks here, and I'm going to want to know what Quinn's opinion is on things, but we have a lot of crossover, and then we still have our kind of like standout takes on things. Like, I am going the goad route because I'm tickled by the concept of discarding cards on an opponent's turns and make them use that like against each other. Like, Quinn got I'm going to use not an exact maybe one-to-one context, and I'll have to double check it. But Quinn, your new favorite card from Age of Eternities, that whatever like pillar thing that like deals
Monolith.
Requiem Monolith. Boy, it would be a shame if something dealt your creature more damage to make you lose more life. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'll draw more cards, sure, but I've only got so many wizard hats.
You know, your hat may be the size of Texas, but you were not prepared for that.
Yeah.
I just feel as if it's a 2-color creature with some pretty decent built-in protection that is just, you know, okay, it's not quite shy of being straight-up hexproof, but we take what we can get. Above average power, which means if you want to go a dedicated Voltron commander damage route, that is something you can be incentivized to do. If you want to go wide with smaller bodies via tokens or small evasive creatures, that is something you can do as well. And then just the simple open-ended clause of you can target any creature to deal that extra damage and you are still benefiting by drawing cards from it. And that is so fucking sick to me. Yeah. And here we are, you know, we're all do our own little thing. We have our own little crossovers here and there. And yet, at the same time, we still can manage to like stand alone from one another. Quinn, what was your reason for picking up Captain Howler?
So I looked at this card and was like, I can play looters. I can play Ghostly Pilferer in particular. I think this is the that probably ends up in every Captain Howler deck.
As it should, I would say, yeah, which we all do.
Yeah, it's got an activated ability that says discard a card, Ghostly Pilferer can't be blocked this turn. It's like they printed this specifically to make out sloppy style with Captain Howler. It's exactly what you need.
Only with a difference of like 5 year set difference, you know.
Yeah. They knew.
Well,
they knew
sometimes they look back into the past and can see, wouldn't it be so sick if this card worked with all of our shitty little unblockable creatures? Ghostly Pilfer. Oh, dude, it would be so sick if this worked with Ghostly Pilfer. Yeah, you know, somebody in the office had that thought. Because fucking, they all like the game.
Yeah, that is the one thing, right, about all the people who are joining like WotC right now as like designers and everything. Is like, they've probably been playing this game for quite a while, you know, like our age, maybe a bit younger, maybe a bit older, whatever. And they're just like locked the fuck in. They're like, oh, this is so sick. This game is awesome. Yeah. I want to make awesome Magic the Gathering cards.
Howler afforded me the opportunity to just fucking cut people's heads off with commander damage. And we've got avenues like looters and the Ghostly Pilfer and other discard stuff to do that. So we put all that in the same pile with cards that were in my collection on MTGO, because that's where most of my brewing is done these days. And we just fucking fell in love with the guy. I really like the blue-red discard Voltron archetype.
Yeah. So one of the things that always like comes up when I'm chatting with some people As much as I rag on Brandon for brewing 5 color slop decks all the fucking time, and of course he just did this last weekend.
I don't think that one was a slop deck. I think that had a very clear intention, and the thing that you were doing is the thing that people are complaining about, where you apply slop to places where maybe it doesn't, and it lessens the overall meaning of the word slop.
Yeah, It's Brandon's 5 color slop.
It's not even slop. The man specifically came through.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know.
Anyway.
I give him shit all the time because it's either 5 color or it's Zur or some other bullshit. But what I'm trying to say here is that when it comes to being a Commander player and what are you getting out of the game, right? Being a hipster is like, everyone jokes about being a hipster and like trying to go up against the trend and against the grain and everything. And in Commander, it is either the most easiest thing to do or the hardest thing to do, because you could be seeing preview season come out and you latch onto a legend and then you see everyone on your timeline or your Discord feed also ranting and raving like lunatics about the legend. And then you're like, well, shit, I can't touch this card anymore because it is now forever stained by popular opinion, right? And I think Howler definitely kind of breaks the trend, but at the same time, I don't give a fuck because he's super fucking awesome, and I'm willing.
Have our like different like the thesis with which we approached the deck building of Howler was different, despite landing on some of the same cards ultimately because it's what he wants. I think that lends to having different gameplay experiences. And so even though we both have the same legend and Cody has the same legend, we're serving different meals.
Yeah. And that's the really cool thing about Commander is that, yeah, our experiences, whether that's like the vacuum of being in a dedicated play group or whatever, like really can influence our decision making. And why, like, for example, like I realized that I'm allergic to like creature token strategies. So like part of me was like, I gotta find a way to like, short of putting Talran Sky Summoner in this list, like I gotta find ways to get like the little guys in, and like my kind of wink and nudge moment of that was like Drake Haven and Shark Typhoon, which is like,
yes, dude, Shark Typhoon in the Shark deck, fuck yeah.
And we talked about this, of course, about Brelin Sky Shark Rider apparently being like $50 more billion on MTGO.
Yes, it is very expensive on MTGO. Which I think is also getting up there in paper, from what I remember.
It's I just paid like $16 for it. So yeah,
jeez. I could tell you this. I'm pretty sure I didn't pay that much, but I will say it was definitely like, I think it was like about like $10 or less at the time. But it's not unsurprising that this card is like going up in price.
That Jeskai Ikoria Precon has more than a few things in there that are worth some money.
Yeah. Just there is an entire suite of different ways that you could play this commander while still probably keeping a very similar shell. But it really has made me appreciate like the small things when it comes to like brewing decks like this. Like, it is not every day that you get to cast Izzet Charm to either counter a spell when you know someone's like too low on mana to pay the 2, which like in the early game could be huge. In the late game, okay, maybe you do something different. 2 damage to target creature. Again, maybe you do the post-combat thing and you finish something off or whatever, and like Quinn's like, God fucking damn, you can't have shit around here.
You think you made a safe block, and nope.
And then you look at just the draw 2, discard 2 at instant speed, which can be like a really make or break it kind of thing right now. We got a boatload of counter spells, whether they're modular or just straight up counter a spell while also drawing and discarding a card. And then just kind of looking.
Fucking refute is perfect. If people try and interrupt me in combat, you counter that and draw and discard. That feels incredible.
Yeah, you know, like, and everyone looks for those types of little niche cards that like happens to do that, like that little thing that you're like, oh, I want that counterspell that does the little extra thing.
Yeah.
Tell me your secret tech.
Tell you my secret tech?
Both of you, I want to know what your secret, like, what's the thing that's in your deck that's not in, like, the other people's decks that's like, oh, but I'm on this one because it's my secret sauce.
Obviously it's Ghostly Pilferer, Azure Beastbinder, and Silent Hall Creeper.
Like I had
previously mentioned, Red Death Shipwrecker was the initial thesis. So I can't exactly say Bothersome Quasit is like not going to be there, because casually casting your spells that make you draw and discard cards, allowing you to go to your opponents, like, sure. Death Kiss kind of being more on the top end of being that extra incentive for your opponents to attack other people. And then maybe even being like, I'll give you +2/+0 to double your creature's power, and then also hitting your opponent to to do that, right? So I put in a copy of Nahiri's Wrath from Eldritch Moon that I've had in my collection for like the longest time. It's a sorcery card, where for an additional cost you discard X cards, so then Nahiri's Wrath deals X damage equal to the total converted mana cost of the discarded cards to each up to X target creatures and or planeswalkers. So you pitch 3 cards, you're dealing whatever the mana value is total to 3 things. So per thing you're discarding, you're doing 1 additional target. And it's like, cool, I will now clear the board, trigger Howler, do the thing, hit someone probably really stupidly hard. Because one of the things I was noticing, and I know, Cody, you got a copy of Ill-Timed Explosion. That was one of those cards where I was eyeballing it, and I'm like, fuck, if it's 3 damage, it's fine. I could probably have Captain Howler come on top of it. But the minute you start hitting 4+, it's like, it gets out of that asymmetrical range. And it's just really, really freaking tricky to deal with that. That being said, though, I do still like the card, and maybe one day it's going to go back in. But yeah, the other kind of like tech, and I don't know kind of where we all might fall in on this, but I put in a copy of Drowned Yard Temple in my mana base, because if I discard it, I could pay 3 later and have it brought back to the battlefield tapped. So I kind of have a way to like kind of pseudo ramp myself in a one-time kind of way. Because there's just going to be those moments where like you do need to pitch your lands. And that's also like, sure, I put in all the cycling lands that I felt like were justifiable to put in the list. Yeah. You want every card in the deck to also have the added benefit of being discarded to get that extra mileage out of it, because you just never know when you need that in a pinch. So outside of like the kind of obvious ones that we all have, like the lands having that extra benefit, and then just circumstantially being like, Drowned Yard Temple also functionally has this, but I can also bring it back to the battlefield if I have an off turn, you know? And yeah, it's just, I'm going the goad route. I got Bloodthirsty Blade, Popular Entertainer, Fell Beast Shriek from Lord of the Rings, where I could probably maybe splice it onto something in a pinch. Like, I got the tech. It's here. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
All right, Cody, tell me about your talk.
For me, I think like one of my favorites is the Blighted Agent, because it's 1 in the blue for an unblockable infect 1/1. And so if you can discard 5 cards in a turn to like a wheel or just, you know, a couple different spells, you can get someone out of the game pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that one a ton. The other one I think would be Forgotten Creation, because it's a 3/3 with Skulk. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all cards in your hand. If you draw that many cards.
Oh shit! This is I think originally from Eldritch Moon, and then your printing's from like the Innistrad Commander deck.
Yeah. That's what I've always been eyeballing too. Just like it could fly under the radar, and it's a May trigger, so you don't have to do it. But
that's the thing. It's
it's
very much like
all of the cards in your hand on your upkeep is sick.
Yeah.
And you have Riel the Everwise in here, so you can discard all of your cards in your hand, trigger Riel, draw that many, then draw that many for the Forgotten Creation, and now you've got like 15 cards in hand or whatever.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And there's so many instances of sorceries in this deck that like
Riel you got a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah, Riel can get very big. So I like having her in there. I know it's like not like hidden tech, but like I love Ledger Shredder to punish greedy mages because the connive. It's like, especially with Howler out, it's like, okay, that's your second spell. I'll connive. I'll discard something. Hey, I'll give your random 1/1 that's unblockable a +2/+0. And now when you hit with it, I get to draw a card. And I love like when that gets to happen. And I think the only other one is the Ill-Time Explosion because you can get the draw 2, discard 2, but also if you're playing against a token deck, you discard a 2-mana spell and a land, and now you've pretty much just wiped the board of tokens. And that's actually helped me in one of the games I played. Our buddy was playing like an elf ball deck, and he had a bunch of 1/1 tokens.
Fuck those elves up.
Yeah, just I think I threw up Vandal
clear
Blast.
Them all out.
Yeah.
Hell
yeah. I noticed something, and I don't know if Quinn's got this because I haven't really like scrolled that far down. Occult Epiphany is one that is immediately jumping out to me where I'm like, fuck, it's genius, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
So that was a holdover from...
This card fucking rips. I wish I had one of these.
This is a holdover from Octavia. I haven't got to cast it in this deck, but I do feel like it would it fills your board up if you can get a couple different card types out there.
Card types, yeah.
So for listeners, it's an X and a blue for an instant. Draw X cards and then discard X cards. You make a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying for each card type among cards discarded this way. It's, a nice way, like after a board wipe, to just like refill your board with stuff. And if you happen to have Howler out, something's getting big, maybe Howler himself.
Yeah, this is
good on offense. It's good on defense. You can
fuck you, Crimson Vow Commander. God damn you. Damn you. Looks immediately like I saw that card and I'm like, I'm gonna go look at my LGS and fuck, they don't have it. God damn it. This is your combat trick. This is your end of turn trick to get your board state back ready to go, like you said. Yeah. Like this is your oh no, I'm being attacked, lol Lamau, activate Occult Epiphany for like surprise blocks for anything that like doesn't have like menace or trample or whatever, right? So like god damn it. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's real good.
Quinn, what is your super special tech?
All right, gamers, my super special tech that you're fucking sleeping on is some bullshit from Standard. Smash Bros. Announcer voice, Corey Steel Cutter.
But Quinn, that got banned.
The shit gives the thing trample and haste, and I think that that's pretty good for getting in there into the red zone with my Howley boy. I also, from Standard, have Drake Hatcher, who, in conjunction with trample or some sort of evasion, I can just use the Howler triggers to stack a bunch of power on this and deal that much damage, put that many incubation counters, and then start removing counters to print out a board state to save my life.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was whenever it does that much damage. You get
that much damage,
counters.
yeah.
That's
I was completely disrespecting
space.
this card, and then I saw people crushing on Standard like the Pro Tour with this, and was like,
yeah.
Oh, I will show so much more respect to that card now.
Yeah. I think I managed to get myself a copy in the last few months, and that's the thing right now about having kind of Oh, the incredibly privileged problem of having like nearly 40 decks and not being like, where the fuck do I put Drakehatcher to have like the best benefit like payoff? And then I'm like, well, I would want to put it in Captain Howler, but like the issue I'm having right now, even with like Spider-Man having copies of cards, and Cody, you pointed that out about like the shadow of like the goblin or whatever the hell that 2-mana enchantment was, which I gotta look that up in a second here, of just like the tech is there, like it exists, and there's always going to be printings of like some combination of draw discard effects that like will fit in this deck, and you're like, I only have so many slots to do this, like what do I have to do to like let it get in, right? And like there's also like the ebb and flow of building a new commander deck around either dedicating slots to like cards that came out in the set that it came from to kind of be like, this is the Captain Howler Aether Drift deck, but also Dragonstorm came out, so we got like Winter Night Stories as like part of the kit, right? But then you're like, oh, well, I can obviously like get rid of like Pirate's Pillage or Unexpected Windfall for like whatever reason, like you can do that type of thing. But then you look at like Broadside Barrage, where you're like, well, that's the Aether Drift card that's also maybe like removal with a draw and discard on top of it.
Yeah, that card
if I get rid of it, what am I getting rid of it? Like, what am I replacing it with? Like, is it that much better? Yeah. And then Dragonstorm comes out. It's like, hey, check out Glacial Dragon Hunt. I'm like, fuck, damn it. I'm foiled again because, like, yeah, it's 2 mana to maybe deal 3 damage to something. If you choose to do the discard thing, you just pay 2 to draw a card, and it has Harmonize. And you're like, great, but this synergizes incredibly well. And these days, circumstantial 3 damage can just like kill a bunch of shit too. So now it's just like we're just trying to like fight against the tide of new cards that do cool things that happen to synergize really well with this thing. But I'm so dedicated to my card slots. Like, as much as I want like a copy of Refute, or as much as I want to get a copy of Occult Epiphany, I'm like, the fuck am I going to cut for that? Like, what am I going to do? I'm suffering here. It's
fighting for your fucking
silly.
life for card slots. All right, one last piece of secret tech is Jill Shiva's Dominant. She's the 3-mana ETB unsummon target non-land permanent, and I can spend 3 blue and tap her to exile her and return her transformed as Shiva, Warden of Ice, who on chapters 1 and 2 say target creature can't be blocked this turn, which means I'm fucking getting in there with that lethal commander damage, baby. Your head is coming off.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing I've noticed, I don't know about you two, but like sometimes I'll be thinking about the unblockability or the evasiveness of a creature in my Howler deck, and I'm like, okay, if I have a bunch of 1 or 2 mana 1/1s that are evasive, what else do they do, right? And like Ghostly Pilferer is like the apex of it. Like it's at the peak of what you expect and want it to do, right? But then you're like, okay, but everything under that either has to pull its weight at that level or it's just not good enough. And then then it's the sliding scale of, okay, but then what if someone just like Brotherhood ends me? And then all of a sudden my X1s are like just blown the hell up. And you're like, great. So the stuff like Shiva, and like, does it have unblockability built in? Is it an instant or a sorcery, or is it a permanent? And then kind of like the checklist of like the mental loopholes of like trying to be like, hey, what do I justify putting in this deck? Does it have flying? Does it have unblockable? Does it have menace? If like menace like maybe even shows up or whatever, or does it have trample? And like, can I justify the slot of putting an Embercleave in a deck versus putting in a Key to the City, or guaranteeing a way to find Rogue's Passage or whatever, right? Like, there's always sort of like the next step of like, how vulnerable is this card versus what else can I justify putting in an instant that gives me unblockable, like Artful Dodge or Slip Through Space, versus I discard Wonder into my graveyard to give all my stuff flying kind of thing, you know? Like, it's the never-ending,
I had
cycle.
one turn where I cast a Faithless Looting, I drew 2 cards and discarded Anger and Wonder and went to combat.
Oh. It's so fucking cool, cinema. Right?
Absolute like cinema.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Infinite buildability and playability is really like the experience here. There will be those times where, like, yes, this is your Captain Howler deck. You've seen 100 of them. You know exactly roughly what the game plan is supposed to do. It's what it's asking you to do.
Because it's mine.
The journey, though, to get to that point of like, am I going to be a manipulative little shit like me and goad all your stuff? Or do I make a bunch of little bodies via token generation with whatever? You know, we got options. It's how you deploy it, you know?
Yeah. I just placed an order the other day for like 15 cards for this deck. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh boy, what am I going to cut? When am I going to get out of here? And then also part of me is like, but there's like some cool, like there's Brawlin, there's Wonder, there's like all these cool cards that like I'm excited to get into the list and just try out. But speaking to what you said earlier, Cole, about like all these cards are so like they're Captain Howler cards. Marauding Mako is a 1-mana 1/1 where when you discard a card, it gets +1/+1. And in my head, I'm like, this is so fucking cool because it's another Shark Pirate. But then I'm sitting there thinking about it, I'm like, I have the Scrounging Skyray, but it has flying though. So like it's the same card, but better.
Yes, and you're allowed to play 8 of them in your standard deck. That's the point.
Yeah. Like we like that, and that's the thing too about like what is the composition of your deck? Like, what's your budget? Do you have these cards on hand? Do you just like Marauding Mako? Obviously, like along with the Scrounging Skyray of like, okay, it's got cycling. It's part of like what the deck's supposed to do. If you're playing it in limited, sealed, draft, you're playing it in standard. Like this is what the Captain Howler. This is what the Izzet archetype is. Boosted Sloop. You know, like just this is the Aether Drift card that happens to fit into the deck. And is it worth me dedicating a slot to it, or is it just kind of sitting here as a placeholder for the thing in the mail to show up? But then Marauding Mako is also a Shark Pirate, so there's that like little shark incentive of like having that stuff, right?
I just need all of my Howler pilots to consider playing Key to the Vault and Buster Sword. I recognize the Buster Sword costs 50 bajillion mana, so you don't have to get one of those. But Key to the Vault is very cheap.
I need to pay $1 more billion
and the power buff to make it worth it.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. You know what? Put Glamdring in that deck instead. You know what? The Buster Sword's overhyped. Put in Glamdring, you'll punch harder and also cast spells.
That's a good point. Yeah. I have that cool
and that's the thing, right?
Version of that one. I might put that in here.
Oh yeah, there you go, perfect.
That's an even better reason to play one, actually.
Yeah,
like that's the thing is that when it comes to like popular commanders, there's a lot of cute things you can do with it for sure, and then there's the really like tried and true. This is just a good strategy that synergizes with it, right? And if you can find that little way to bridge the gaps and make it your own, like you can feel good about it without feeling like, great, I'm encroaching on Cody's territory. I'm encroaching on Quinn's territory. There's always going to be like those little things that we do specific to ourselves that like stands out. And I think all 3 of these decks are a good example of that, where it's like, this is where we come together. It's the Venn diagram. There we all are in the middle. The center, dead center, is Captain Howler.
Monument to Endurance.
And Monument to Endurance and
Ghostly Pilfer. Those are like triangles on which the deck like is founded, and then there's the rest of it branching out from that.
And then so like just to kind of maybe close this out, because again like it's Spider-Man and we got to talk about something about Spider-Man while we're here. So Shadow of the Goblin was that card that got previewed. We were just like there's much to think about. So it's 1 in red for an enchantment. That says unreliable visions at the beginning of your first main phase. Discard a card if you do draw a card. That alone is like mentally, I'm like, that's playable. Like to be able to kickstart the effect. Like, okay, and it's a May trigger. You're allowed to choose, or no. Beginning of your. Why does it say if you do draw a card? I guess maybe if you have an empty hand. Okay, fair enough. So, but then the other part says whenever you play a land or cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, this enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is where I'm like, these are the types of cards where I'm like, the first half of this card, even if it was just like the only type of effect that you were looking for, its most bare bones entry level thing, like this is a Captain Howler card. And you get to the other part and you're like, I'm going to flash back fucking, or I'm going to harmonize Glacial Dragon Hunt and I'm going to deal 1 damage. And then like, that's going to be the only time that I do that. Like that's like the mayhem
or
stuff.
You get yourself an Emberheart Challenger and an NT Seneschal of the Sun, who will both synergize with exiling things and playing things from outside your hand.
True. Yeah. So there is ways where like, depending on like the composition of your deck, a card like this could definitely fit in it like super duper well.
Yeah, I think that fits really well in my particular build.
I am putting this card in my Shiko Paragon of the Way deck.
Yeah, that seems pretty good in there.
So, I don't know. We're in preview season, the eternal preview season. Always be looking and thinking about cards like this, but it's like I low key. If I have the hierarchy of needs, it's like Odric Bloodcurse at the top. Always look at a set, figure out if anything fits in that. Take a look at Spider-Man. I'm like, okay, a land can go in this deck, but other than that, I'm going to skip out on this. And then like you go down the sliding scale of like, are there new mono white knights that can go into Dion, Bahamut's Dominant, or what is the draw and discard tag that can go into Howler, or Shiko Paragon on the Way, right? And like, I don't know. It's kind of nice to be like, what is the cool new tech that I can think about for Howler? But also at the same time, is it worth it? And can it really beat out on connecting the dots?
Well, no.
Any other contributions to the discussion? Because I feel like maybe we hit everything we needed to say about Howler.
I think we covered it.
Yeah. I am very much looking forward to like any Mayhem cards that could fit into Captain Howler. Because
I haven't really looked.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if Mayhem is a keyword that stays around for other Marvel sets, because that would be kind of cool. So I know it's kind of big right now, but I think it could.
Yeah.
Keep seeing.
I think they could also put that on Rakdos cards in Ravnica.
I would agree, yeah.
It's time to go back to Ravnica again. And this time, mayhem is happening. And that's the thing, too, about Universes Beyond mechanics. Like, looking at Radiation and Fallout, like, that could be something that goes into a Magic set. You cannot tell me an exploding Power Stone is not going to, like, have some consequences by exposure. You can't tell me for the people in the Edge of Eternities where they might get exposed to like environments where they're not just being pelted with Zeta waves or whatever the fuck they want to come up with in the setting. You know, they're like, I don't know, just like whatever fucking like 80s like sci-fi technobabble they can come up with, you know. But man, Howler, what a cool card, right?
Indeed. Shout out to the designers for that one. You cooked absolute cinema.
Alrighty. Quinn, let's go over a deck of yours that I'm sure you would just absolutely love to talk about.
Yeah, I got two here, but we'll go with the Grixis Villains because we touched on that at the very end of the live show, and we want to just like come back to that with the gameplay experience and the full set that we have looked at now. So, yeah, Grixis Villains with Norman Osborn. We talked about him at the top of the show, but he's the 1 in a blue and can't be blocked, and when he deals combat damage to a player, he connives. And you can spend 1 in Grixis to transform him into the Green Goblin, or you can hardcast him for 1 in a Grixis as Green Goblin, who's a 3/3 with Flying and Menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast, and each non-land card in your graveyard has Mayhem. The Mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. So we wanted to explore the set's relationship between Connive and Mayhem and the creatures with type villain, and we also wanted to include Swords of Import because Norm's unblockable. I'm going to take advantage of that card, like the combat damage triggers and just the number go up technology enabling me to cut people's fucking heads off. I'm into that. So construction, we went and found some villains. I just put the fucking Scryfall search in here.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Type : villain, color identity Grixis, legal and EDH, and then we filtered for rare, mythic rare villains because I wanted to focus on the bigger, splashier effects with more rules text. Because I'm a fucking nerd. And we also put or T : symbiote because I also wanted to catch all of the venoms and the cards like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we found all of the ones that we found satisfactory for the deck and put them into the list. We also added some flavor villains that synergized with our game plan. Kefka and Emmett Selk and Sauron.
Wow.
Some people would say Emmett Selk is not a villain. Just want to throw that out there. So to push my glasses up on my face.
Many people would say that and push up their glasses while they're saying it, which already tells you enough.
He's just misunderstood. Yeah, okay, sure, Cody.
Just don't flip him over to the back. You're good.
Don't. I know his name says Hades. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
The thing about that is I have actually flipped him over to the back in a different game, and it does say Hades, Sorcerer of Eld on the back there, my guy.
I don't know about you, but that guy looks pretty fucking spooky.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. That looks pretty fucking final boss to me.
Yeah.
You're pretty spot on.
All right. So yeah, that's what we've got in there for creatures. There's also fucking Captain Howler in here because my commander says to discard. So we've got ways
the other
to
thing
discard.
too, like the discard suite that you accumulated in here.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
I can see how it'll work out.
It's pretty sweet. So I also have sorts. We prioritize just fucking busted effects. So I went with Excalibur, Sword of Eden. I went with Embercleave. We went with Buster Sword and Sword of Hearth and Home and Super State, which is like not a sword, but we're talking about it in the same context because it basically it's what I'm using to fucking cut your head off.
Mm-hmm.
I turned Norm into base power toughness 9/9 and Smash Brothers Brawl Sonic voice. Now I'll show you.
Just like, you're like, oh god, he's out of control. Oh no, he's coming back. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. We just fucking get in there, we deal the damage, we splash damage the rest of the table, and if I've got the rest of these big ass knives on them, then that's GG's. So yeah, we've got that, and then the whenever you discard synergy, here's another fucking search, whenever you discard, that's in quotes, and then the color identity, Grixis, format, legal, EDH, and then sort it by EDH rec so that I can see the stuff that's being used, take the stuff that I want, and ignore the stuff that I don't. Mm-hmm. The main things that we grabbed here from that search are Inti, Seneschal of the Sun, Captain Howler, Crypt Color Chariot, and Monument to Endurance. This is very much giving Grixis Howler.
Yeah, for sure. I know that's something we've been talking about a lot with Light, because she's also looking into like Grixis Howler stuff, and that's the one thing about kind of like having like the hidden commander synergy of like, how am I going to get to Captain Howler to like guarantee to like lock it all together, and like, but you're also in the colors that allows you to like really dig.
Yeah, I could just demonic tutor for Howler, but I want to touch a lot of cards along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of touching a lot of cards along the way, my fucking card advantage package, it's still just the those cards that are like looting and conniving, but also the ancestral memories, the drawn from dreams, the stock up. I'm looking at the top X cards of my library, I'm putting 2 into my hand, and I'm putting the rest some other place. I really like that level of card advantage and looking at that many cards.
Stock up, you silly little standard card.
It's
in 3
pretty
get you
fucking
2.
good. Speaking of cards from standard, not getting played in standard, but Overkill, You can kill a surprising, like, it's good. It does exactly what it needs to do.
Another card at the LGS that just continues to elude me. I'm like, just give me one. Just give me one so I can just say that I just killed something with negative 9,999. Please.
Yeah, I want to try depressurize as well from Edge of Eternities, which is like -3, -0, and if your power's below 0, then you die. I think it's very funny.
That's pretty cool.
So in gameplay experiences with this deck here, we fucking get there. We play our big knives. I've had games where I play Norm and I put the super state on him and I give him the Buster Sword and he's got +1/+1 counters from conniving. I'm like, he's a 15-14. What's good? And we get interacted with.
As you should.
Other turns where we've tried again. We got the Buster Sword. We've got Excalibur. We're about ready to cut somebody's fucking head off with my unblockable commander. And we get interacted with. Earlier today, actually, I played a game where I had I think 13 orc army. So their base power toughness is 0/0. I have super state in my hand. I have Ember Cleave on the battlefield. I'm about ready to just like, if I untap, I make that a base power toughness 9/9. So we put it at like 19 or some shit. Add the +1/+1 from the Ember Cleave for 20. And then it's GG's if I connect with that twice. To the rest of the table, like we're dealing 40 damage to everybody if that goes through the way that I plan. And we die to spaceship burn before we get there. So
you hate to see it.
Based on that experiment.
So how does it feel to try to be the archenemy and then everyone just said lol them out and just killed you?
My fucking plans. I would have gotten away with them too if it weren't for you meddling kids.
You're like, I'm gonna play the supervillain deck, and then you got kicked down to the curb because you were playing the supervillain.
Oh no, the plucky heroes overcome my Grixis villainy. I will come through with the step dodges and the talking stick so that I do not get interrupted, and my plans will continue unabated.
I just came across a cardboard crack panel, like the thing where it's like, I'm playing Miss Bubbleflower and I'm playing what's that weird little like mushroom sapling dude from Jumpstart, like Shrews. Yeah, and then someone's like, I'm playing whatever. They're like, oh, that's so cute. And the last panel is, and then they all fucking killed me. It's just like that's you. You were the person in the last panel because you broke the conventions.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I can't stop the Grixis villainy. I just, every time they print one, I'm gonna see what it does.
Yeah, true. I would expect nothing less.
I might try Norman Osborn as like the Chandra's commander for a time or two because I've come to the conclusion that it kind of doesn't matter who the commander is as long as they're a Grixis villain. I think they'll synergize fine enough.
Fair enough. Just enough to hold down the fort for 20 Chandras to show up to the battlefield.
Yeah, exactly. I even fucking looked at Davros from the Doctor Who set and was just like...
Okay, yeah.
He makes a robot to block with, and he does the demand of a discard or draw card, so I got the card advantage there, or people can discard, which will synergize with the waste dot and stuff like that in the 99. It literally doesn't matter who my commander is, as long as they're a Grixis villain.
All right, well, we'll just see what the new wallpaper looks like when it's finally
yeah, so this is Sauron Chandra's.
You're like, no, cast into the ring, Chandra, and then Chandra just like melts the one ring, and we're like, oh,
we can do that.
Problem solved. We can just wow. All right, geez.
I didn't know she had it like that.
She just like wipes off her hand. She's like, I don't know why you guys thought that was a problem. Like,
what? Like it's hard?
Yeah, exactly. New YouTube video. Chandra melts the one ring. Broken OP. What a clickbait.
Chandra,
title.
most powerful pyromancer ever.
Channeled Middle Earth's ley lines into destroying the one ring. Like everyone. Random interview with someone. I fucking hate her because WotC blah blah blah. And so it's like, okay, cool. Anyway, whatever, man.
Chandra rules, dude.
I don't know. Look, as much as it would have been cool, one of the things about say what you will about the lore and like Universes Beyond right now, but like I'm glad to see like I'm expecting the Jace versus Chandra like final encounter whenever.
Oh my gosh, yes, dude. Can we get a fucking like red elemental blast, blue elemental blast with Chandra and Jace, and they're doing the red versus blue, and it's like the mirrored art panorama. Oh, it'd be so good.
So like let's do it again, you know, like let's do Jace versus Chandra again. But like here's the thing, right? Like I need Chandra to go through Zen Cole with 10 decks like moment where Chandra properly learns how to use Ghostfire and it's actually plot relevant, and like Chandra like casts Ghostfire on Jace after he comes back from his time shattering whatever moment happened that we don't quite exactly know what happened yet. And he's like, blue elemental, fuck, it's colorless. No. Like that's it, right? But like we're at a point where it's like we just don't know like what's like what are we working up to, you know? Like I don't know exactly, like the blocks are in place and something's going to happen, and Jace is on his like anti-villain like arc and like, you know, good intentions but like, you know, too hurt to really like think clearly and blah blah blah, that even like Vraska's like who are you, what happened to you, why are you abusing our son, and he's just like
it's top tier anguish, dude.
Oh yeah. And so then it's like, oh fuck, but where does Chandra come in this, you know? And then like Chandra was in the racing set, but Chandra would have been really cool to see in Edge of Eternities and see how like she deals with that. I still need Gideon to come back as an Aetherborn like mech hybrid thing. That would be really cool, please. Hello.
That'd be sick.
Mana Strike, I will never fucking... Is it Mana Strike? I can't remember. The Magic the Gathering game where he had him as a skin is just like some Aetherborn construct thing. I'm like, oh, it's so fucking cool. And they're like, no, he's dead. I'm like, no, he's not. No. Like, but so anyway, whatever happens in Magic lore in the future, like... we're going off on the Chandra tangent because we are. Where it's like everyone who says that they like hate Jace and Chandra, but it's like, let's take a look at the Spider-Man set where even though that like we have 20,000 Peter Parkers, right? Like we can tell a Spider-Man story with Peter Parker in any way, shape, or form because we know that him, MJ, J. Jonah Jameson, Doc Ock, and all the like the villain gallery like will be there in some way, shape, or form, you know? And that consistency can either like make or break a thing. And Jace and Vraska and Chandra and Kaya and like the characters that they're kind of like keeping around right now, like I'm like, what are they doing? What's the end goal? How can we kind of like bring it around? Because like, man, Gideon's gone.
Happy West Coast Weed Minute.
Oh yeah, shit. Yeah, true. 420 Blazing. All right. Anything else to note about the Norman Osborn deck here, Quinn?
No, I think we're just gonna get those improvements made. I did actually find a slot for the talking stick, so I've got a Conqueror's Flail, but I gotta fucking step up my instant speed interaction game, maybe get the March of Swirly Boys, maybe get a Slip Out the Back. Yeah. You have been got too many times recently. Yeah, time to start fucking doing something about it. About it.
Quinn, I do have one question about this deck.
Yeah.
What's up with the bobbleheads?
I didn't want to think about a ramp package, so I added a bunch of bobbleheads and then started cutting them when I needed to make room for other cards. Is it a Quinn deck if there isn't bobbleheads in it, you know? Yeah, I got bobbleheads and I got more than one sword, so you know my thumbprints on it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I actually was looking at doing like remember, I don't know if y'all remember this video Rebel Lily did where she made a like all one set for Lord of the Rings. It was like every card.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to do that with Grixis Villains the other night because I was like, oh, it's so cool. And then I kept getting upset because Behold the Sinister Six has creatures on it like Sandman, Craven, that like aren't in
but you
the
can't
color.
grab them.
Yeah, you can't grab them. I'm like, I hate this. So like, I had texted Laz and I was like, they're gonna come out with like a Kingpin 5-color villain deck like in the next set, and like I'm just gonna hold out hope for that, and then I'll be able to play this card and actually get to use all my cool cards.
Sauce Babes, Grixis villains only.
So that's the thing where people's complaints about Universes Beyond and trying to apply a very heavily non-magic, non-fantasy setting and trying to assign color identities to them. Because, like, obviously, whenever we talk about color identities and apply them to people, they're like, oh, well, I think of myself as, like, Jeskai or whatever. Like, I say I'm Mardu in the sense where it's, like, I'm selfish, so that's where the black comes in. But I also, like, following rules and, like, I enjoy being around people, so that's where, like, the white comes in. And then I'm, like, I'm also an impulsive fucker and very emotional, so that's where the red comes in. But, like, I don't know. I still like respect nature and I can still be like somewhat intelligent. So like to say like the philosophy of magic can't be applied, but it's just like when it comes to like the needs and demands of a set, Green Goblin, the name itself, some people are like, well, he's obviously got to be green. No, but him not being a villain and not being Grixis, or at least something in that color combination, would feel incredibly silly.
Yeah.
Doc Ock not being blue aligned in some way, shape, or form. But then you get to like Sandman and all these other guys where it's like, I can understand them not having black in their identity, because then you just have this huge swath of things like in that like space, and then they're like, okay, how do we balance it out with the spiders and the heroes and everything? And then we still got like Gwenom or anyone that's a symbiote that has black in the color identity, because they made symbiote, they chose to be like, all right, the symbiote, regardless of hero or villain, is going to have black in its identity. Yeah. And then here we are, right? So maybe, like you said, Cody, we might get Kingpin or some other villain, because if we got what Spider-Man for the ultimate one?
Oh, Cosmic.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did not know there was a Cosmic Spider-Man, but like, who was I freaking kidding? Why was I shocked about that at all?
They're probably something new every time they print out one of these Universes Beyond sets. There's like, who the fuck was this character? And there's always somebody who's going to be like, dude, you didn't check out this issue of this comic where they showed up in, or this secret room in this Final Fantasy where they show up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably make 5-color Thanos or something.
Oh my.
Like,
yeah, probably so.
Like, obviously, like, you could throw him and make him another Grixis villain, and like Quinn's like, great, God, that's my Infinity Gauntlet, is adding Thanos to the roster. But then, like, I feel like it'd be obvious, like, if we're trying to do the Infinity Stones, you want the character that still is able to harness them in some way. Yeah. And whenever we hit Thanos, like, that's probably what's going to be happening, and they'll make him 5-color, because either it's like, we'll make him 5-color because we need that 5-color legend to tie the whole thing together, or it's what he thinks of himself, because the man is so freaking deranged that he thinks he's 5-color. They're like, he's 5-color, and then everyone's like, that is a fucking villain. That man is. I am not associated with this man. Like, what is going on here? So I don't know. We'll need to see what happens when we get to another Marvel set in within the next 5 years, I imagine.
So that it doesn't happen, Joda reskin.
Oh,
Shut up. No. Oh, God, please. I can't do it again. No.
It's going to be a Najila reskin after we've gotten Najila twice now.
Sure. I'll take another Najila before I get another fucking Joda. Please. I don't need that in my life. Watch it be Joda, the Jeskai one, and then you're like, yeah, fuck you guys. I don't know how that works for fucking Thanos, but whatever. Okay, Cody.
Yes.
I need you to hit me with your idol.
I'll be your idol.
I cannot sing that song. Oh man,
I can't sing it either. Quinn, I need you to make a cover of your idol within the next 2 days. No, I'm kidding. Quid's like, what is this song? I don't know.
What?
Yeah, don't worry.
Quinn,
so
you would
Cody,
love K-pop Demon Hunters so much.
yeah. Funny little tangent before we go back into this. So Medusa and Light in their Discord notification things, or like their status, was the opening song of the movie, of just like the fit check for my Napalm America thing, and like Quinn makes this song completely unrelated just because Faye thinks like the lyrics are fire, and it's like we're like, Quinn, it is an actual song. Like, you can reference this, like you could bring it up on YouTube. It's a whole thing, like this like sick song, not related whatsoever. But yeah, no. So anyway, K-pop Demon Hunters is fucking sick.
It's very cool.
But what do you got going on here?
Yeah, so on the last episode of Brew Review, Laz and I kind of sat down to little questions, and Draco Lucian was like, oh, you should cover like every deck that y'all covered on the show. And so I went into Moxfield and made like a list of like every deck we had covered. And we started reminiscing about like old decks on there. And Raphael Fiendish Savior came back up. So this is a 3 generic, a black and a red for a legendary creature, Devil Noble. It's a 4/4 with flying. It says other demons, devils, imps, and tieflings you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. And it has at the beginning of each end step, if a creature card was put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, you make a 1/1 red devil creature token with, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target.
I'm immediately thinking of Raphael's actor singing Your Idol. Just mentally, I could think that. You have a little bard strumming like a lute in the back.
That would be sick.
And it's just like, I'll be your idol. You're like, all right.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So when I originally made this deck list, it was like just full demons. Like there wasn't a lot of synergy. I had like a few tieflings. I had like no devils, no imps. And I completely just like ignored the second part of this card altogether. And I think that was probably the reason it got taken apart the first time, was because I was really just focusing on demons and trying to give them lifelink. And the deck had some great showings. Like turns out giving Rakdos +1/+1 and lifelink and then swinging him at people, pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But I wanted this time around to come at it from a different angle. And I thought for a while about going like full aristocrat with it. Or like, I'm just sacking creatures endlessly to like keep making these devils that are pinging people. But I kind of landed somewhere in the middle where I got a nice little suite of demons that are just like too cool not to play. Like a new one from Foundation. It might not be new. It might be a reprint. Arbiter of Woe. It's a 4 generic, a black. As an additional cost, sacrifice a creature. So that helps us get that second part of Raphael going, where I've sacrificed a creature. Could be one of the imps I've already made. Or devils, I mean. And so I get to make another one. Whenever this creature enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. You draw a card and gain 2 life. And it's a 5/4. So if Raphael out, this becomes a 6/5 with flying and lifelink. Great way to just like kind of stabilize life totals. Other ones like Bloodthirster. I'm so glad I picked this up before Warhammer 40k like became ridiculously priced.
That card is so fucking cool.
Yeah. 6 mana for a 6/6 demon with flying trample. Whenever it does combat damage, you untap it. After this combat phase, there's an additional combat phase. But Bloodthirster can't attack a player it has already attacked this turn. So pretty much, if Raphael is out, this is 18 life I'm gaining, and there's 3 combat phases going on. So that's just like super sick. And there's just a ton of cool like demons that have come out because of like Dustmourne introduced the Valgavoth, Hero of Souls. I considered the giant mono black Valgavoth for a little while in this deck, but I didn't have a copy, and this was mainly just stuff I had in my collection. That is and I know this is like Cole's like least favorite card of all time. It's 2 generic, a black and a red for an Elder Demon, 4/4, has flying, ward, pay 2 life. Whenever an opponent loses life for the first time during each of their turns, put a 1/1 counter on Valgavoth, Hero Souls, and draw a card.
Perfect.
If Valgavoth is in the 99, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Yeah, you can source it and it goes away forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me recently, because he's been trading in a bunch of cards and like whittling down his like bulk and whole collection and everything. And he's like, I'm in the market for a new Rakdos deck because I cannot play this Valgavoth deck without getting the most fucking. I won't lie. I went on the rant on him. I took him to court and I said, this is the fucking Misery Olympics deck where every fucking game action, it's pure suffering. And then I have to deal with a giant fuck off Valgavoth and you have a hand that's just full. It could have been literally anything else. Anyway, better than 99. Yeah. Perfect windmill slam fit in this deck for sure.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah, because being able to sacrifice those devils to like ping somebody and then get the card draw is just so valuable. Outside of demons in the deck, one from Foundation's Perforating Artist has been like such a like, damn, this card is so cool.
It's so cool.
It's 1 generic, a black and a red for a devil, Death Touch, 3/2, has raid. At the beginning of your end step, if you attack this turn, each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. Just awesome. Love it so much.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing it for like some lists because I'm like, I know I can slot it in somewhere. I just haven't had like a good dedicated spot for it, you know?
Yeah. And perks of putting this deck together after Howler was I realized how strong cycling can be. And so I have Oliphant and Troll of Khazad-dûn because those count as a creature entering the graveyard.
Legacy All-Star Troll of Khazad-dûn.
Yeah, so those have been nice to kind of like, because like before Howler, I didn't have a discard deck at all or anything that cared about cycling. And I didn't really think about the power of like mountain cycling for 1 or swamp cycling for 1.
Yeah, so that's basically a tapped land to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So those have been kind of nice to have. And then Dragonstorm introduced the Rot Curse Rakshasa. It's a 1 in the black.
So cool.
Trample and Decayed, 5/5. But then that renew ability is like so good for being able to like pretty much like wipe a board for X, black, exile this card from your graveyard, put a Decayed counter on each of up to X target creatures, activate only as a sorcery. So yeah, I like that one a lot.
Quinn in the back. My plans.
Yeah, basically. I wanted to attack multiple times with these things, and now they're decayed.
Dragonstorm, I love you.
Good set. Very good set. Our other game plan is like a lot of reanimation, which like I finally get to play Dance Macabre in a deck.
It's a dance deck. Let's go.
I actually got to use this the other day, and I sacrificed something while I had Mahadi out. And so I got to make a ton of treasure. I pretty much, the card paid for itself. I was like, this is so sick. Living Death, Victimize. I considered putting in Rise of the Dark Realms for a little bit, but graveyard shenanigans aren't as popular in like my church as like others are. So I wasn't really worried too much about it. So I feel like just running with those 3 are pretty good.
Seems good to me.
Yeah. And I have a whole suite of like sacrifice a creature, draw a card with like Corrupted Conviction, Deadly Dispute, Nasty End. Shout out to Quinn for the Rowan's Grim Search. I don't know. Saw you play it a couple times, and I was like, I gotta start playing this card. It makes sense.
It's really good.
Yeah. Super happy to have a deck where Palantir of Earthank can like just like dome somebody if they're not smart about it.
That gets to cook in this deck.
Yeah. 3 generic.
Imps Mischief. That's very funny.
Yeah, I was like, it's on theme. I'll put Imps Mischief in here. Same with Tivalt's Trickery. I was like, I gotta have like that in there. And Seance Board has been a huge like, because I'm playing demons. I also have some pretty big instants and sorceries. So the morbid, like with a creature dying, it puts a counter on it. So I've been able to like generate a good amount of mana with that through here.
Sweet.
And then the enchantments, Promise of Aclazotz. This actually came from Andy had mentioned it on a recent episode because it's like a really nice way to populate in black. And so I can either populate a couple demon tokens, like from Ritual Chamber, the Room, or I can populate my devil tokens. So I really like that. So yeah, is it a nice to like kind of go back to a list that like for a very long time like I've missed, but like. And I know like Cole does not take decks apart, and Quinn, you
shut the hell up.
You live in a Moxfield world, but like for me, for a very long time, like if I didn't enjoy a deck, I was like taking it apart. And like recently, I've been going through this like I told Laz about it. I was like, this is like my comeback era where like I'm looking at decks I took apart a long time ago, and like reevaluating like why I took them apart and like does it make sense to put them back together. And like this was one that I was like very happy to like put back together just because one, like I love the Justine Jones art for Raphael. I'm planning on getting it signed in Atlanta.
Ooh, that'll be cool.
Hell yeah, she has such a cool signature.
Yeah. Rakdos is like my favorite color pairing, and I haven't had like a Rakdos deck that I've like been really in love with, but this just like it's demons, it's devils, it's imps, it's tieflings. It's just like all these cool little creatures.
Yeah, no, like I think when it comes to like, you know, we always kind of hope that like they'll start doing like color, creature combo platter stuff, like doing mercenaries and rogues, like what they did for Outlaws, which is like that. Like, where's our sea monster compound keyword thing? And like, obviously, like when it comes to D&D stuff, like it's hard to put tieflings in when you also have Azra's from Fiora, and then you're just like,
obviously, you just batch all of that under fiends, as in fiendish heritage.
Yeah. Okay, see, now you're cooking.
Yeah,
Quinn, why aren't you designing cards? Geez. But like that's the like having a kind of like loose typal theme that also happens to be incredibly synergistic, and that you've put a lot of like care and attention to like putting this stuff together that really like revitalizes your love for like the initial concept. Like Raphael is like a cool card that like thankfully isn't just like it's only demons kind of thing, and then you're just really like tied to it. And having like, I don't know, Raphael's always one of those cards where I'm like, where could I put you? You know, like I want you in something. I just don't have that like demon typal list together right now, or that devil, or like whatever, right? And Rakdos is always just like a fun color combination too. Like you do.
It really is the party colors.
We'll probably talk about it more when eventually we have Kristen come on, like in God knows how long, like another like 4 months or however long until that happens. I know, but like we were talking about like Johnny Mardu talking about color combinations. It's like, oh, so what about Rakdos and Boros? I'm like, peak. These color pairs are awesome. There's never not a time where I'm not playing a Rakdos deck or something like that where I'm having a good time. They're like, what about Orzhov? I'm like, you know, it's a little different, and we'll go about that later. But like when it comes to Rakdos, especially like this type of like themed deck, where you did it before, you stopped, you broke it apart, you came back. Like, there's a lot of different stuff. I wouldn't say, sorry, maybe not necessarily different stuff, but like it's clearly you're going about it differently in a way that feels refreshing. Yeah, you're like, I can get behind playing this. This feels good to play. This feels fun to play, and it's got to like, come on, you put Gormand in there. I love that freaking card. That card is super sweet. And then Vile Mutilator fucking there to just ruin your fucking day. Mm-hmm. When someone blinks that like 20 times, you're like, stop, please. Yeah. Still cool though. Yeah. Still very cool. Love seeing this.
Yeah, dude. Sweet list.
Thank you.
I'm gonna skip my Urbrask and the Great Work deck because fuck, I did some stuff with that deck. And that's a deck that you're like, well, why didn't you take it apart? And I'm like, well, because it's on the shelf for a reason, for those dedicated moments when you need to fuck someone up really fucking bad. And I did do that. And you could go watch that over on the 24 stream footage. But let's talk about a different Rakdos deck. Let's talk about Imskir Iron Eater.
Yeah.
So Modern Horizons 3 is still a mistake, and I'll still say that, but they did give me Imskir, and that's a pretty cool fucking card. 6 black and a red for a 5/5 demon with affinity for artifacts. So we're already like, what the fuck? When Imskir enters the battlefield, you draw X cards, you lose X life, or X is half the number of artifacts you control rounded down. Then you can pay 3 and a red, sacrifice an artifact, and Imskir deals damage equal to the sacrificed artifact's mana value to any target. So you've seen
Bosch.
It's Bosch Iron Golem, but with an extra color. He's a demon, and he has affinity for artifacts, and he's also card draw in the zone. Holy shit. So initially when I put this together, however long ago, I think this is one of those decks that like kind of stayed on my shelf for a long time. And if we take a look at like the history of it, like I've gone through so many different kinds of iterations and tweaks here and there, because part of it was like, yeah, I kind of want to do like an equipment thing. But like, I don't think I really went about it kind of like the right way. So I've been going back and forth on revisions and adding and taking things apart. But then recently, because of all like the equipment, Voltron, whatever talk that has been happening with talking with Quinn, or people talking about stuff in like the Heroes Blade Vibe Check channel, or like Andy's recent episode where I'm like, fuck, I gotta really sit down and think about it, right? Final Fantasy came and went, and I had a bunch of these red cards from that Sephiroth Fallen Hero list. It was like Therion Wild Rose Warrior, Raban Bull of Alamigo, Barrett Wallace, those and Gilgamesh. I'm like, I gotta do something with these. So I was like, okay, either I'm gonna take Imskir apart and I'm gonna think about doing a dedicated Rakdos Voltron deck like what you tried to do, Cody, with Kulagon, the Storm's Fury.
Yeah.
Or sit down and think about if I want to keep this Imskir deck around, because Imskir is pretty cool. So I'm like, all right, what swords are we putting in here? What else is going to be going on this list? I need more lands in here. I know that. Just let me get back to that in a bit. And like, what are we doing here, right? So first things first, I'm playing removal. I'm playing interaction on the stack because I'm not a fucking coward like some people, all right? We need something
this
dead.
Guy.
Who are we calling out there?
My fellow co-host.
Me for not playing enough stack interaction.
Quinn's like, oh, my plans. And I'm like, you got to get them back. And Quinn's like, I don't have it either because I have too many artifacts. I'm holding too many swords.
There's
I'm
too
like,
many
okay.
swords in my hands.
So it's like, okay, I bought a Sword of Hearth and Home off Davey. So I was like, great, I gotta put this in here because Imskir loves being flickered. I finally got a home for Phantom Train. I've been thinking about it for so long, and I'm like, if there's ever gonna be a place
Phantom Train rules
to put Phantom Train in here, finally, like this is gonna be the place, right? Like Demonic Junker, obviously got to be in here. It was gonna be in here anyway.
Drastin removal.
Draknin has been like. Jen played this against me, and I was like, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, fuck you. Third of all, I need to get me in on that shit again. So Draknin was going to be here as part of the whole Voltron thing, and we add the aforementioned Final Fantasy stuff, including Freya Crescent, because that was a card where I'm like, I need to get Freya in on this too. To go alongside the kind of short suite of like Blade of the Oni, Rabbit Battery, Leech Gauntlet, Lizard Blades, Ogre Head Helm, Kumainu Battle Armor. So I got to get my equipment creatures in here too. Rook Hexgold Nabber from that weird Phyrexia all will be one jumpstart thing, or like he wasn't part of the main set. Like, cool. Yeah. Trample and Haste, Goblin Rebel, that like if something else dies other than or attacks, like you can move the equipment around onto him. Like, okay, cool. So like take a bunch of creatures out, figure out what's the type of like removal I want to put have in the deck, which like pretty much all the instant sorceries in this deck are some form of removal. And then just leave the rest to fate, because I need to start hitting faces, taking names, and do I have enough equipment in the deck? I don't think so. I'm still trying to figure out like what's the correct ratio versus like what the equipment does versus what else I want the deck to do. I put in mana rocks that like have been kind of like shuffling in and out of decks in the background. My only copy of Ebony Fly has found a new home after changing Ishin Two Heavens is 1 to an Obosh deck. So it couldn't go in there and give 2 things flying when it attacks. So I'm like, great, it's going to give Imskir flying when it attacks, and will rain. I don't know. I knew that I needed to change things up to give this deck new life, and I knew that I really did want to go like kind of this weird equipment route and still have ways to like leverage Imskir's like sack ability. I did 7 to Quinn the other night, and Quinn's like, "Why are thou dealing me 7 damage?" And I said, "You are at the highest life total." Quinn's like, "Yeah, okay, fair."
It was wherefore dost thou fling at me? And then you're like, just at your face, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm asking.
Don't use flowery language at me. I don't know what that means. So yeah. Is there anything really to write home about this deck? I would say on the surface,
fucking Gold Warden's Gambit. What is this shit?
Yeah, so I still love the fact that you did not know what this card was until I like showed it off, and you're just like, what the fuck? So 6 and double red for a sorcery with an affinity for equipment. So that's already pretty good. Create 5 2/2 red rebel creature tokens. They gain haste until end of turn. For each of those tokens, you may attach an equipment you control to it. Let's get.
This is giving living weapon precon card.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you already had it and you wanted to shuffle those around, which I definitely could be adding those to this deck. I mean, I got Cranial Ram right there for living weapon. Mm-hmm. I can do 4 Mirrodin for sure. I just need to take a look at the pile of cards again. But I'm just taking like anything that like if you squint that it came in with a creature or auto equipped or had a cheap equipping cost or was able to like eventually pay itself like 5 times over, or just also did removal or whatever. Like it was going to go in the deck, and then Imskir would show up to get me card advantage and get me the things I need. As long as I'm not fucking dying before I get Imskir out. What the fuck was that shit last night, Quinn?
Die.
Die? All right, fair enough. So yeah, we got to get the lifelink in there. So Leech Gauntlet.
Really late at night. I don't even remember who I was playing.
It's just like, whoa, it's time to turn into a pumpkin. G3. Lenny's like, do you want to make a bad decision? And you're just like, I think I do, actually. I think I will do that. The answer was you were playing 5-color Terra.
Oh, right. That's the one where I made just a lot of Leviathan triggers.
Yes. You were like, I got to remove counters. I got to remove all counters from summon Leviathan. I'm like, fuck. But I was dead at that point anyway.
That guy repeatedly flip-flopping in and out of the pool, bouncing everybody, and then slapping with fish for 6. And
it's just, God, what a cool card. But anyway, the long and short of it is I got some stuff in here that Quinn won't like. I got some other stuff that Quinn does like. And I think I'm pretty content with the direction I'm going. Still not quite sure how it's going to work out in the long term. But I don't know. It's nice to take a deck off the shelf, breathe new life into it, and get to play it. And have a, you know what? I had a good time. I had a really good time playing last night. Fucking Forsworn Paladin doing the work.
That's that card. I was like, what is this Raise Dead that's also a burn spell? Pyretic Rebirth.
I was just looking at that one going, I could put that in Raphael.
Yeah, you could do like that's
pretty good.
This is one of the cool things about getting together with your friends and talking about Magic and goofing around for a couple hours is you also get to show off cards. You'd be like, what the fuck is that? I have never seen this before in my life. Or you did see it, completely went under your radar. Looking back at it again, you're just like,
Speaking of, tell me about your play experiences with Sphere of Annihilation. Because I looked at that card and then ignored it afterwards.
Cool. Here's what I'm going to do right now for you, Quinn. I'm going to remove it from the list, and I'm going to put in a Myriad Landscape because I am also not really too high on it in retrospect. I constantly looked at the card and was like, well, it's an artifact, and it's supposed to be like a board wipe. It's supposed to be removal, but it's just not going to do the thing that I wanted to do without it.
It's definitely not if you can't hit your fucking land drops.
Yeah, so just absolutely fuck. So let's put a Myriad Landscape in there instead. I recently slotted in a Scrap Mastery because I'm like, we got the artifacts, we got the time for a Scrap Mastery. Let's just fucking do it.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I really wanted like Sphere of Annihilation to work, but just
if you do in the audience, hey chat, if you play Sphere of Annihilation, get back to me in the comments. Tell me about your play experiences.
I want to know,
I want to know, yeah.
It just seems like one of those like, oh, this just feels bad after a while because you're just like constantly board wiping.
Yeah.
Well, it exiles itself.
It exiles itself. So
okay,
like, you get
so
the one-off. You get
the one-off.
You choose the number and you say countdown starts now. Figure your shit out.
Yeah, it's like, here's my board wipe. You have until my next turn, and everything with this number and below is fucking gone.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of cases where like if I got this out and I wasn't really too concerned about my low mana value board state, then like great. But considering that I do require this board state to sit around and exist so I can play Imskir for 2 mana, yeah, it gets a little dicey after a while.
Yeah, that's probably not for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Rakdos deck. It does equipment stuff. I like equipping swords to the coolest creatures you ever did see.
Mm-hmm.
Could I suggest one spicy equipment to add to this deck as a card drives by at 90 miles per hour?
Sure.
Resurrection Orb from Warhammer 40k. It gives a lifelink, and then whenever Imskir would die, it would come back, so you get another draw.
But Cody, the card is worth $16 billion more. I don't have it.
Does it?
Oh.
I feel like that one was kind of cheaper.
No,
that whole
Resurrection
set
or
needs to be
if
reprinted to the ground.
It's. I mean, look, I'm totally okay. Let me look at my LGS. First of all, it's out of stock, so let's start there.
Wow, yeah, $15.41.
It is $25 Canadian for the non-Surge Foil version, and the Surge Foil is $40. So,
hey, chat, what the fuck?
Hey, it's a good card. I can understand why, but at the same time, God, I wish I'd do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would, but I cannot.
Never mind. Disregard.
Someone in the comments, but your printer. That's not the point. That's not what I'm. I am a man who respects my budget, and I'm willing to spend my money at my LGS. But that is also a $25 card. I will think of something else. I'll figure it out. But
your man out here saying he wants that organic sheep, and you're coming up here and saying, "How about this electric sheep that's just as good, though?" We're not in here for that. At least he's not. He wants the organic one.
I do appreciate that, though, because, yeah, that would definitely be like a kind of windmill slam in here. Part of me also is like sitting here thinking this is the other thing about having a bunch of decks on your shelf where you're like, well, if you're playing Imskir Iron Eater and you're having a heavy artifact focus thing, then like, but you also have Megatron. And I'm like, yeah, well, you see, Megatron and Imskir play very differently.
They really do, is the thing.
In Megatron, I want to get rid of things off my battlefield to commit the most heinous damage and war crimes to my opponents. And Imskir Iron Eater wants to keep them on the battlefield for the most part to get him out, and then we'll see what else comes out afterward. But yeah.
Unfortunately, they both do end in you flinging demonic junker, but that's beside the point.
But that's a whole other separate issue, all right? And then I'm like sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, so how many equipment decks do I have on my shelf? And the answer is not enough.
Do not answer that question. It will only hurt you.
Quinn, how many equipment decks do you have?
Mind your business.
Anyway, so Imscure Iron Eater equipment. It's pretty sick. I like it a lot. I'm gonna see how it works out. All right. Let Quinn, you have another deck.
Yeah,
here,
I got one more deck. That's
cool.
That's it. So I wanted to take another look at the Esper Capaway from Final Fantasy Grahatia Scion Reborn. And I have the Esper Job Select deck, but in playing that, I realized that he's in the 99 of Catgirl Supreme's Precon for a reason, and that's because they can be basically the same deck. So I took another look at him under that context and wanted to play basically Catgirl Supreme, but a version that beats your ass instead of burns you out. So another thing that we wanted to do in here was try and move at instant speed so that I can make more tokens around the table per turn cycle.
Wow.
His ability only triggers... Yeah, all right.
Sorry, I knew in some way, shape, or form we would work up to this moment, and I'm just going to be over here enjoying every single second.
Whatever. Anyway, so I've got my instant speed interaction package because it's going to aid me in making more bodies per turn cycle. And with all of that information, we fucking go into the construction here. Off rip, I got 10 of my very best friends, by which I mean I got 10 of these annoying ass planeswalkers. I focused on like token production, so I've got Elspeth Terrell and Elspeth Sun's Champion. We also have Soren the Mirthless, who makes a token, but also is a Dark Confidant, and Ashiok Nightmare Muse, who also makes a token. The Ether Spark is here because I like that card, and this is a deck that I think I can pretty reliably put 5 loyalty counters on at minimum every turn. Given that it's a 4-drop, when I cast this with my commander on the battlefield, I can pay 4 life and make a 5/5 and equip that, and then I'm set on a 6/6. I'm attacking, and if that deals combat damage, I'm putting 6 loyalty counters on the Ether Spark, and then every turn I can push that draw 2 cards button, which feels extremely good. We also have the potential to just get to the fucking draw, or the make 10 mana button every turn, so... The Ether Spark offers a lot of potential. Because I've got my instant speed interaction package, we're on Prof Onyx, who does the Magecraft Burn. She also does card selection. She also does interaction in the form of a large edict, so I'm into that. And then our girl, the Eternal Wanderer, is a board wipe, and Kaya Intangible Slayer is a way that I win the game. The +2 has each opponent lose 3 life, and I gain 3 life.
Which is pretty huge.
Yeah, it is pretty fucking huge to just push that every turn. People are like, I call one of the Chandras that does 3 damage to each opponent DPS Chandra. And
that's the one you were playing the other last night, I think.
Yeah, Chandra Flames Catalyst.
Mm-hmm. Pretty damn good.
She's the DPS Chandra, and this is doing basically that same role, except she's also gaining me life, so I have further ways to stabilize. I'm paying life into the ability to make these hero tokens with Grahatia, so I want to be able to like get that back somehow, and increasing the power of life linkers or just having ways to drain that life from my opponents is going to be ways that I can do that. So there's that. There's my 10 of my very best friends. I've also got 5 copies of the same card, basically.
Okay, which one is that?
Fate of the Suncrest, Luminous Rebuke, Ride's End, Seized from Slumber, and Quicksand Whirlpool are all in the genre of instant speed, 5 to 6 mana card that costs up to 3 less if it targets something tapped.
Yeah, so I remember you were talking about this.
Yeah, every one of these is one of that, and every time they print another one of those, I kind of want to just like add that to this because it is just a 2-mana kill spell that also I can pay 5 life into and make a 6/6, which seems like pretty good value for the mana spent on it. We also have other instant speed interaction that you can cast at a discount in with under like certain conditions. Like Lethal Scheme and Pile-On with the Convoke, and then Price of Fame being cheaper if it targets a legendary creature, which you know it's going to because everybody's playing Legends these days.
If you weren't paying 2 for it, I don't know what you're killing, but what is happening?
Yeah, exactly. And then I've got Thassa's Intervention, which is a X spell interaction spell. I can either counter something on the stack by making them pay twice X, or I can look at the top X cards of my library and put 2 of them into my hand and the rest on the bottom. So it feels really good to just like pass with a fuck ton of mana up and just have Thassa's Intervention, and I can look really deep, or I can counter something and make them have to spend their entire turn to get through that. We got colorless creature synergy from the tweet. I posted about that. Hero tokens are colorless every once in a while, and then I post a card next to it that synergizes with that when I remember that it does. So the things that we have put into practice in this build is the Forsaken Monument. That'll give colorless creatures that I control +2/+2. And whenever I tap a permanent for a wingding, I add an additional wingding. And whenever I cast a colorless spell, I gain 2 life. I don't have as many colorless spells in the deck, but it does mean that the Regalia gets the +2/+2 because it's a colorless creature. And then all of my hero tokens are getting the buff, which is pretty significant.
And your talismans... And your talismans can give you double wingdings as needed.
Yes, my talismans do indeed tap for double wingdings. Glitch Interpreter is a card that it's basically a coastal piracy for colorless creatures. Or not a coastal piracy, a Timna for colorless creatures because it's 1 or more per player, so you can draw up to 3 per combat. But still, casting Ancestral Recall for just beating my opponents up feels pretty good, and any way that I can do that, I would like to do it. So Glitch Interpreter will help me get there. It's also slightly card advantage. If I don't have any face-down permanents, when it enters the battlefield, it makes one by manifesting Dread and bouncing back to my hand. And then I recast it, and we've got the Coastal Piracy or the Timna, the card advantage engine online. And then we got Cars and Knives. That's what the rest of oh no, I have one more colorless synergy. Kozilek.
Yeah, I'm like, let's talk about the Eldrazi in the room for a second here.
Yeah, the Eldrazi in the room. Kozilek the Broken Reality. When you cast this spell, up to 2 target players each manifest 2 cards from their hand. For each card manifested this way, you draw a card. Other colorless creatures you control get +3/+2. Also, he's a 9/9, but I think that doesn't fucking matter when my 12/12 hero tokens are staring you down.
Yeah. That's spooky.
Yeah, so I've got a way to give them +5 power, which feels pretty fucking good.
Pretty spooky.
Okay. So there's the colorless creature synergy. We handled that. Then Cars and Knives. I got the Regalia, like we talked about. I think that's a really strong ramp piece, so I've started playing that. And Possession Engine is removal, basically. But
it's
also
functionally
like,
removal, yeah.
My opponents play busted fucking cards. I'm going to borrow those. I'm going to see what they do. For Knives, I'm on Key to the Vault and Buster Sword. And we've got a Subterranean Schooner that shows me some more lands and either fills my graveyard for whatever purposes, or I put my lands into my hand. Yeah, we like that guy. I didn't put it in the construction section here, but we've got token synergy. I got the Caretaker's Talent. We've got Takesia's Welcome. We got Anointed Procession. I'm thinking about the fucking token doubler Angel from the Space set. I have one of those on MTGO now, so we might put that in there. I don't usually play with token doublers, but I feel like if you're playing on MTGO, you take whatever you can get because everybody else is being just as sweaty.
Yeah,
fair.
No, every time we get together every couple weeks, you will put off your MTGO hat and hang it up on the wall, and you'd be like, wow, it was a tough time in the mines today. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God, like what is happening in there? Like just
Sweat lords.
Yeah, no kidding. It's just like every time it's not The Office. What the hell show is it? Community, I think maybe. When Donald Glover's character comes in with a stack of pizzas and it's just everything's on fire, people are fighting each other, and I'm just like, it's the fucking what is going on out there, you know?
Any glimpse into the MTGO Commander metagame.
Yeah, just scary stuff. Like I get it. Like it's functionally the Wild West out there, but my God, like they have no control, so they're like, fine then, I guess I gotta load up a gun and go back out there, you know, just to make sure you freaking survive.
It's kind of the same thing at the LGS though, so I can't fault them.
Yeah, well, yeah, like
you
you said,
they're lovely individuals, but they are bringing sharp knives.
I find it funny that like every once in a while you're like, please grant me strike sword energy swords up, I am going to the LGS, and then you're just like, oh man, the LGS has hands. Just like every dang time. My God.
All right, so gameplay experience playing this new token control build of Catboy. I did the thing. I cast my interaction spells. I made my tokens. I did that going around the table. I was playing against I forget who their commander was, but they were doing the game plan of just like cram resources down everybody's throat. So they're just like Heartbeat of Spring, extra land drops, extra card draws, and I'm doing the thing where I hit every land drop because I play 39 lands in the deck, and I have a robust card advantage package on top of all the stuff that they're doing, so we're going to find all of our lands to play them all. So before we even get to the fucking, like, real sauce happens, I'm in a position where I've got my full hand and I flip Saga Jin-Gitaxias. So the chapter 1 of that enters the battlefield. You draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. So I'm sitting here with like 14 cards in hand or whatever. The fucking group hug deck draws into their Jace's Archivist and they play that and they start fucking feasting off of my hard work. And
this is why you don't play. This is why you don't play good cards, Quinn. Because then people are like, "But what if I piggyback off of you?" That every time that Benoit talks about this card, I'm constantly like Jerry emoji because I'm like, that Jin is so fucked up.
It really is. I do like this guy a lot. So the thing that really like fucking gets me is I realize they don't even have to sacrifice Jace's Archivist. I forget about that part.
Oh yeah, you could just keep, if you find ways to like chain untap him and like do it again, you're just like, oh my God.
So I put the clues together. This is their fucking win condition.
Oh, they're just gonna mill you out.
Yeah, they push the button again, and we wheel some more, and after the next one, I finally find some interaction for the Archivist, but the fucking damage is done, my guy. I'm at like 7 cards left in my library. Somebody else found interaction for Jin, so I didn't even get to like do the Omniscience turn. I don't even think I got the fucking bounce board wipe off, dude. We were struggling. So my board's empty. I don't have my Jin-Gitaxias. I've got 7 cards left in my library. My life total's low. Fucking I don't have any of them chances left. I've got a Tomb Fortress on the battlefield though, so I can at least have some fun while we go out. We reanimate Jin with the Tomb Fortress. We activate the ability. We flip him, and we draw ourselves out. GG's.
Go on your way out on your own terms. Yeah. Sometimes you just can't have shit around here.
Yeah. The deck fucking works though, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, when you on your equipment journey recently, you've been fiddling with a bunch of ways to go about doing it, and when you one of the things that I really enjoy with you is when you're like, fuck, this deck isn't working, god damn it, and then you're like, no, we gotta go back in, we gotta dig deeper, and then you come back and you're like, actually, this is kind of sick, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you managed to find something with Gratia that actually works. and manages to kind of blend everything together a little more cohesively. I really want a copy of Hylia Guided by Light now. Like, I keep seeing that goddamn card.
In the 99 here, one of the ways that I can pad my life total is having her do the Soul Sister thing with my hero tokens entering. I've got the Disciple of Bolus to sacrifice a really big hero token and refill my hand. And we've got Teysa Karlov to fucking give my tokens lifelink and vigilance, which makes it really fucking hard for my opponents to get through for damage.
Damn.
Yep. Yeah. I also, what I find really funny right now is like how you and I are trying to do like the Esper equipment like thesis statement, and I'm like cheating by being like
different angles.
I'm like, this is the card that specifically says equipment in its name and is the thing I care about, and you're just like, how can I just like manage to just cram a bunch of swords in this thing and make it work, you know? Like that's your goal. That is the end. Like everything. This is the Empress Quinn Carcinization. It defies Boros logic and just comes back into. But can I put Buster Sword in this deck?
Can I play Buster Sword and Sword of Hearth and Home?
Yeah, exactly.
Does Genji Glove fit here?
Yeah, like. Also, what I love, like, we were chatting with like Medusa, and like we were talking about all these different equipment because she's like, hey, I'm gonna do a Shroom equipment deck. Like, I'm gonna see if I can put some blades in there. And we're like, okay, sure. And then she's like, can you give us some options? And I'm like, okay, so here's Assassin Gauntlet, because I love that fucking card of just tap stuff down, have a loot kind of thing on the damage, auto equip, like we're good, we're golden. You find some way to flicker that thing, you're more villainous than me, because that's surprisingly not even on like the brain when I'm bringing that card out. And then you showed Genji gloves, and then the language of Medusa just being like, oh yeah, like the gauntlet is cool. Like I wish the gauntlet gave more power, and I'm like, what? But it does.
+1 not enough, and they're like, no, not that gauntlet. The Genji glove, the one that's a gauntlet
Genji
in the art.
And I'm like, God fucking damn it! Call the card by what it's called. But alas, here we are. Yeah, the types of stuff, like the types of equipment that we've been getting, like key to the vault. I know that's a good card. I have one copy finally after forever, and I'm like, I can't remember.
No.
I can't remember if I have it in something right now or it's been kind of like on the fence. But it's like, we know this card's good. Buster Sword's good. The key to the vault's good. Like it's just. One's color locked and the other one isn't. You got to figure the rest out for yourself, you know? And card advantage engines in combat too, like just doing the work. I love it. Subterranean Schooner. That is a card that I've been eyeballing very often. I
was pretty impressed with how surprisingly good it is. Like, you just fucking hit your land drop every turn, or it helps you hit your land drop every turn, and I think that that's crucial if you're playing any kind of control stanced game plan.
True. Also, a 2-mana 3/4 vehicle with crew 1 is also like pretty dang good on the early game.
Yeah, dude. Bro, play like, vehicles.
The only one that matters is Megatron and fucking Demonic Junker, and that's it. That is the only. I think I might be getting more in the Phantom Train thing too, depending on like what I can feel out with it. But like, yeah, I'll look into it. I've also got this copy of the Possession Engine that I've been like. I know I got to do it because
you should totally play that and steal my bomb and piss me the fuck off.
You're like, no. I'll be like, yes. I got some ideas. I got some places I could be putting these things, and just haven't quite.
It's gonna be some mythic rare from an upcoming set you haven't even fully read yet.
What does this Spider-Man do? Oh, shit.
You're like, I don't fucking care. It's the newest card on Quinn's board. I think that'll deal the most psychic damage.
Yeah.
I'm stealing that.
Yeah,
And
guaranteed.
then I
If
just
there's one thing,
turn into a corn cob.
if there's one thing I'm here to do, if Quinn's here on this earth to press my life total and I won't block whatever creature Faye is attacking with, I've been put on here on this earth to press Quinn for not playing enough interaction on the stag and also taking or destroying Faye's most important card on the battlefield and just being like, no!
Truly, your role is to corrupt that which is most precious to me.
It is so fun to do. What are your thoughts on this deck, Cody?
I like it a lot. Grahatia is like one of my favorite characters from the video game. And so I've been really enjoying seeing Quinn.
I want to meet him from the this point in the game where he's at, but I recognize that is several hours of content.
So a very long time into that game before you get to see this version.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying seeing what you do with both the equipment version and this version. I also have to truly respect you running the Shadowbringers art for Dovin's Veto, because it's just like
yes.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
I will say, between this list, the list that was focused on job select, and then just this podcast, I think I got to sit down, and LCP's Voltron discussion, I got to sit down and figure out a equipment deck, because I just don't have one.
Look,
and
you know what? I was thinking about this recently, Cody, because you know what? Estinian's been on my brain.
Oh, shit.
And maybe Estinian, I was like, oh, maybe you just go dragons, right? Like you go Orzhov dragons because that's what Estinian wants. But maybe you just suit him up and just fucking go to town.
I did do that version, and I did kind of like it. I liked it better than the Aura version. Just because there's so much draw cards off of Pure Steel Paladin, stuff like that.
Pure Steel Paladin, fucking Mask of Memory, dude.
First of all, I'm just gonna there's this video I came across. So Joe Cat, he's a content creator. He does a lot of stuff for Monster Hunter, and he was doing stuff for Final Fantasy when he finally got into it, because he did this video of how I finally got into Final Fantasy 14, because he's like, oh, I don't like this, and everything felt like a slog. And then he started changing up how he was engaging with the game. He's like, oh, this is great, right? And then he started did this little voice acting thing, I think for Endbringers or whatever. It was a bit of a goofy spoof thing, because whenever Estinian showed up, he was like, there's Estinian, he's a cool guy, or whatever, right? And then he's like, is that Estinian? No, it's Nadog, or whatever, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So and then there's this he did voiceovers for his Warrior of Light talking to Grahatia, and I'm like, I have no context for whatever is happening in this moment, because I have not played the game and I haven't read the lore or anything, but I recognize that this Grahatia that I'm seeing right now is this Grahatia in Magic. And I'm like, okay, there's the through line here, and I don't know what it is, but now I am exposed a little bit more to these characters. So it's I think, Cody, what you do need to do, and maybe Orzhov isn't exactly the answer, but I feel Estinian could be finally the thing that kind of brings it all together. You get your one of your favorite, a cool Final Fantasy character that you like, with equipment, and on top of Quinn's love for another Orzhov legend in the command zone that deals damage, draws you cards, and makes you lose life.
Yeah.
Oh, Timna? I love her.
Timna the Weaver. So you're doing the Timna the Weaver thing, but with dragons and dragoons and whatever. So I think this might be the way to go about it.
I think there's something there. I would like to see it.
I'll have to dust off that old deck list, and by old I mean 2 months ago.
In Magic time, it is functionally. It's ancient at this point. It's Spider-Man is here now. It is too late. It doesn't matter, just...
Cool thing about good knives is once you've got them, you can kind of move them around different shelves.
Yeah. And with as many as they're churning out that also now auto-equip, I think, it's probably worth the time to just, sit down and be like, okay, what does... One, does this color combination do anything for me? 2, does the commander do anything for me? And 3, is it worth it to shove swords on this commander and or his entourage? And the answer is probably yes.
To look sick as fuck holding 3 swords, and the answer is probably yes.
Yeah. So we expect that on our desk in 2 weeks.
Okay. I'm on it. I'm working on it.
All right. Anything else to go over?
No, I think we're good with that. Is this where we go to the soapbox?
Do you have a soapbox?
I thought maybe perhaps Cody had a soapbox for us.
I mean, we're temperature check. We're at like 3 hours of recording. How are y'all feeling?
Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Talk about the brackets because I've been doing a lot of like research into the brackets, as y'all know, because I had like a kind of come to Richard Garfield, aka Jesus, moment where I realized that like
very funny. Thank you.
Okay, I was wondering if we would get that reference. Where I realized like a lot of my decks were not the bracket I thought they were. And
I heard about this on the Brew Review podcast.
Yeah. I thought I was like playing bracket 2 decks, and then Laz was like, Cody, I think you need to reevaluate. I think you're playing bracket 3. And I went through my decks and I went, shit, he's right. Like, and I think Quinn and we've discussed this a little bit where like it's so tough because I have like I have a church or a meta where that's just kind of what I've grown to like accept as like this is what I gotta play to like hang. But like as I've started like researching and like kind of, you know, I started doing this project where I have a pre-con that I've been like upgrading a card every month, and seeing how it plays against other decks that are out there. I think I've come to realize that like the bracket system is very great because I think it's a lot better than the old my deck's a 7. But there is so much nuance out there for the brackets that I think the Commander format panel's done a great job about it. Like, hey, it's a lot about intent and like what you're trying to do.
And it's still a work in progress too.
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. It's only been around, I think it was this time last year.
It's only the demo of it started in February? Like it only just happened this year. Like that's the thing, right?
No, you're right. Oh my god. Yeah.
They tested a trial version at whatever con happened at the beginning of the year. And then they took that feedback and then they deployed it back out as sort of the more or less quote unquote official 1.0 version before they added the extra like bunch of like game changers and stuff and the unbanning that happened. But yeah, it is very much it literally just happened. And that's the thing, Magic time too, when it comes to like content creation, how like we might show up on streams and everyone's question is now, hey, what kind of bracket game are we looking for, right? Because and that's where like the nuances can be a problem while also it being like the solution, right? If you engage with the brackets authentically and genuinely, you can say, by definition, this deck is a 2. Because of my experiences and deck building methods, it is a 3. Then you start factoring in like game changes or the saturation of game changers and everything. Then you can be like, okay, well now this is like a bracket 4 deck. And, you know, we shouldn't just automatically say like bracket cards with game changers automatically just guarantees that your deck is a 3 because you can put in a game changer and your deck is still playing like a piece of shit. Like that's going to happen. Yeah. But let's take a look at the Jund precon that just came out in Age of Eternities with all the fucking stacked legends that are part of its 99. That deck is not okay. That is not just precon level.
Yeah.
That thing is pushing way above its weight.
Corvold, Windgrace, Titania, Morag.
Yeah, so brackets will have that nuance there. But sorry, I had to say my piece there, Cody.
No, because I guess in my head I'm like, oh yeah, it's been around for a year, but no, like last year was when the bans happened, which resulted in where we're at now, which is just mind-boggling to think about.
Magic time,
yeah. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't interact with it in a good faith thing, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just that that's what they're, there was a player during that 24-hour stream y'all did who really loved a certain brand of this game where people get stacks out of the game, and that's what they want to play at. But I don't know if that's a bracket.
Etria, if you're listening,
I was gonna call
sorry,
you
not sorry. We didn't, trust me. We've already had people reach out and be like, "Were you talking about so and so?" I'd be like, "Yeah, unfortunately, yeah."
No,
don't worry. That's why I sent him to the fucking Shadow Realm with fucking manual Storm Herb.
But yeah, I just think a lot of people, and I'm saying this that a lot of people don't interact with it in a good faith manner, but also it's just so hard to self-evaluate. Like I said, I thought I was playing bracket 2 decks, and then after I reassessed, I was like, well, no, the way I build decks is very synergistic. Like that's just how. But like I have years of other card game experience in Yu-Gi-Oh and Hearthstone, and I mean I've only been playing Magic for 3 years, but I feel like I'm a competent deck builder. And sometimes it's just hard to build decks that, like, for me at least, sometimes it's hard to make like, okay, hey, I have a card here and a card here. I'm going to pick the weaker version. Like, it's hard sometimes to do that. I'm trying to make those decisions more often because I would like to play at different bracket levels. But, like,
I think one of the things that we've talked about on and off, like with Quinn and I, and whether that's like on the podcast or in Discords that we're in or whatever, right, is that there are some people who are incapable of smoking mids, right? And Cody, you're not that type of person, right? Like if we're going to say here, what type of bracket gameplay do we actually all play at? I would say we play at 3. Whether or not some decks can punch up that high or whatever, when we enter a deck building phase and we're like, okay, 1.0 proof of concept or like version 0.9 caps lock, fuck, that game sucked, let's go back to the drawing board and like fix it, right? Like, we know how the game works, and so we're going to take that knowledge in either our cards off our desk or whatever and try to make the best of a situation. Sometimes the cards we put in the command zone can really help be that launch point of pushing a deck's relative power level to a different thing, because you always have access to that card. But at the same time, it's like, what do you want out of the deck, right? And the brackets can be a good thing to like help define like what is the gameplay experience that you're looking for, and whether or not they add more guardrails to like help define the brackets more and more. Because like a lot of people said, bracket 3 is such a gulf in terms of depth that like you could play a by definition 3 deck, but you can have the ones that play like 2s and you can have the ones that push up into 4, right? And then you kind of like circumvent back into it's a 7 but it's a 3 deck, and then you get with someone who's like, okay, so I tutor like 5 turns in a row because I'm allowed to do that somehow, some way, and then like they win the game. And you're like, great, okay, you want to be on the upper side of things, but I don't play tutors because I'm in a tutorless meta, a la like Andy and Kyle. And while the internal meta of Andy and Kyle's playgroup by definition is probably bracket 2 because they don't put tutors in or they don't do certain things because they're considering what the experiences that their opponents are going through, but they still may functionally be playing at 3 because of that high synergy. So what it really comes down to is that we have a new tool in the lexicon that is still being defined.
Yeah.
And we don't have a grasp of the nomenclature yet. Like, we're not quite there of like, okay, look into the mirror, pointing at self in the mirror. You know what you fucking did. You know what you play. You're a control player, Cole. You tap down and freeze people's stuff. You know that, like, I know that I can comfortably play in a bracket 3 pod depending on what deck I'm bringing to the battlefield. But then every once in a blue moon, you are threatened by a concept, an idea, and it doesn't happen because the opponent unfortunately either trips and falls flat or like gets put in their place, and then you're like, it is time to bring Urabrask from the shelf, and it's time to just fuck up everyone's day, and then you're sitting there taking a 20-minute manual storm turn to fucking win the game, and you're like, hi, Prophet, we haven't played Magic in a while, I'm gonna fucking blow you out of the water. And he's just like, well, damn, I guess I deserve it because I'm playing my Jund landfall deck, you know? So it's like, the reality is that the brackets can be a shorthand, but they are not your new, like, title of being a player, right? And the only way that you can really figure out where you are in relative to other people is to get out of those comfort zones of, like, your church or your play group or whatever you want to call it, and be like, hey, let's go for a trial by fire. And if I beat a table soundly, I've made a mistake, and I now need to reassess what bracket 2 truly means and how you go about achieving that bracket 2 goal. And then the other thing is, like, if that pulse check with playing with all these different people, and then you realize it's like, oh, well, bracket 3 might be kind of like the good, like, kind of middle ground for everyone. But some people are also willing to, like, take their lumps just to get, like, hey, I got this proof of concept deck. I want to see how it works out. Oh, shit, it doesn't work. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, get back to it, right? Like, the nuances are ultimately, like, you got to get your peer feedback, you know, you got to get peer reviewed, and then you come back again and again and again to reiterate and see what's going on, right? And internal arms races and having, like, a small meta, like, can really skew your perspective on it. And just know if you're smoking mids or not, and if you are smoking mids, you know what's the extra third dimension you didn't think of, right? Because, like, I think a lot of people are a lot better players than they give themselves credit for, and that really shows in, like, how they build their decks and everything. And then you got some people who are like, you're really good at this game because you think about it on such a different, like, your fourth dimension 5D chess thinking about this game, and I don't. And now I need to think about how we have to engage with each other to get a good endgame result versus a mismatch that goes just beyond cardboard and really just comes down to, like, how does this person fundamentally game, you know, their thought processes and everything. So yeah, it's Magic is complicated, Commander is complicated, and now with the bracket system, it's really complicated. Quinn, what do you think about the brackets and your experiences with it since we've had about, like, over 6 or 7 months of it now?
Works in trusted play-groups. The language is also an improvement over what we had previously. Not having a pregame discussion to accompany that is a little bit of a disservice to it, because on MTGO there's only so much you can do. But you're still getting better games than you were previously, where people would not use any sort of power level descriptor, and you get any sort of power level disparities.
I think Steel City Brad put a skeet out into the world and was like, wow, like, I should have brought it up now that I just thought of it, but he said something along the lines of like trying to be the stewards of the format, whether that's what Sheldon did with the previous like Commander Advisory Group and the Rules Committee versus now with what WotC's doing and having like a revamped roster and everything. Like, okay, independent group of people versus like the company holding it. That's one thing. There's going to be different priorities, whatever. But like still being the stewards of a format and realizing how hard it is to lead the reins on it when you have millions of people playing this format. And what it takes to be like, if we can improve the language and the ability for people to discuss what it means to play in these brackets and to play this format, that is better than trying to create more and more hard rules. I don't mind. My excitement when it comes to putting stuff on the ban list or putting, being like, this is a game changer, right? Like, I love that. Because maybe it's a system that's complicated because you're like, I don't know if this card is a game changer or not, because you're not constantly having the thing on like a written note on your hand, right? You don't have access to that all the time. But the language of it allows people to be like, this card functionally is really powerful and I need to think about how I'm using it. Despite that, there's always going to be those group of people who are like, well, why should I care about other people? It's like, because we want to play with you until you don't want to play with us and you just want to play with yourself, I give Brandon shit all the time where he's like, I'm playing Zer the Enchanter and I'm going to do all this. I'm going to do all this stuff, But Brandon's a troll by nature. And then when you get him really down into it, like if he's backed into a corner, he's just like, fuck, I can't get out of this, Like he still engages with the game on a level of like troll first, player second, but he's still trying to play the game. And then you have the people who are like, I can't not play without the staples because I want to play at that level. And if I don't have access to those cards, I'm just straight up, I'm not having a good time. And there's nothing I can do to like disengage from that line of thinking, right? Same thing with like my addiction to like fetch lands, OG duels, and all this other shit where I'm like, if I play with these cards, is it going to like change my opinion of it? Or is it going to like set a precedent I don't want to set for myself? And that's not even getting into like, again, like mentioning earlier, how like I like having the cards, like I like owning and paying for the cards. I would rather take the money for a plateau and put it into something else, like that feels like a better bang for my buck kind of thing. And that's just Magic in a nutshell. The ways that you can play it, the ways that you invest in, like, consume it. Brackets is only, like, the tip of the iceberg of, like, the entire gaming experience. And just what it really comes down to is, like, you as a human being really need to consciously think about what you're doing with it. Because we come together and play these giant multiplayer games. And whether or not that's just, yes, it's going to be 3, 4, 5, or 6, or 8 people. If you're going to be absolutely crazy and not using a different sub format to like set the rules, like it's up to you to be social and be socially courteous to people and not just use the brackets to like get away with it or whatever. Like, I don't know what I want to say about it, but like, it's just another stepping stone, another tool in our kit to continue to be social with each other and then be like, cool, I think I fucked up and I'm willing to admit that. I'm hoping you will give me the chance to come back the next time with a different set of expectations or a different deck, whether that means you power it down or they power up or whatever the rule is. And then you keep coming back and iterating again, because that way the fresh experiences and the different scenarios allows you to just continue to iterate and learn with not only understanding yourself, but also other people too. Right. So I don't know. It's Magic the Gathering is called that for a reason. And now that we're in this era of like Commander and hyperset releases and heavily conflicting opinions on like how to play this game, it's still best to like realize that like you are still playing with another human being, and you sometimes need to like update your language to understand what everyone else is talking about. I like the brackets. Like, I personally really like the brackets. I think it's a good change. It's the fact that they were working on that before, like they were working on a system like that before the bans were happening and everything. Like, I can get behind that. And I think at the end of the day, like the power's still in our hands to like have our experiences. And it's also our responsibility to not ruin it for other people. Despite the fact that I love my complaining and being a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
You
that's
sure do.
kind of where I'm coming at from, is that, you know, as long as people are interacting with it like in a good faith thing, but also like just realizing that, hey, like you're gonna fuck up sometimes. Again, like a prime example of this, I would think would be my Tavash deck. I remember us playing one time on MTG Lexicon, and afterward, Cole, you went, Cody, how do people feel when they play against this deck? And I went, that's a great question. And I never really thought about it. And in that moment, I know you're being a sarcastic little asshole, but like you're probably also like, Cody came in and stomped. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because I don't know when we're gonna be ending this, but like there are times, regardless what format I'm playing, where I will stomp a table. And if depending on how people react, it is the worst thing in the world. Like a few weeks ago, I just absolutely like blasted Quinn to the nether realm, and Quinn's just silent and was like, you know what? I got other things to do. I'm gonna go play Tekken in the background, right? And that's just like a terrible feeling. I joke about it, but it's a terrible feeling of like I have completely ruined Quinn's plan. And it's so bad that Quinn has like no foot in the game anymore. And I'm like, that's a terrible
fucking on purpose. I was catching strays.
Yeah, like I was trying to deal with everyone else's stuff with the tools I had at my disposal, and maybe it was a timing or waiting game, but like I felt like it needed to be done. And you're like, well, my only creature is now gone. I am mentally checked out of this game, and now I'll be turning into a pumpkin in the next 30 minutes, please. Thank you. And I'm like, shit. Go to a pre-release and it's Tarkir Dragonstorm, and it's the second round, and I lost the first game, and it was a clean win, and I'm like, whatever. And then I go 2-0 on my opponent there, and just every time that they're like, okay, I got to pass the turn, I'm like, well, now I have an answer for whatever you got going on. And just the second I hit another, I couldn't tell you what spell it was, but they were just like, they just scooped immediately. And it's just like such a terrible feeling. And even in a 1v1 environment where like you're not really supposed to have that same etiquette, like you're supposed to have that etiquette and you're still supposed to be like professional and courteous. But like there's still that point where it's like, I don't know, this kid was probably like 18 or 20 years old, probably tired and exhausted. And they're like, this guy just fucking wrecked my shit. It's the worst feeling in the world, not only to be on the receiving end of it, but also being the one to inflict it. And there's no way, and I'm not equipped to deal with that type of like visual disappointment. Like, I don't know how to disarm it. Like, and that's like part of the whole learning process here of like, I can't laugh and make a joke about it because that person probably felt pretty good about their sealed deck. And I just came by and just fucking wrecked them. And then you get into a commander game where you scale it up and you just stomp everyone. You're just like, if there's no resistance, it's fucking terrible, you know? And that's Magic, baby. Jeez. Yeah. Magic's complicated, right? That's the other thing too.
Yeah, but I guess that's kind of the soapbox here is, you know, the brackets are still new, but also just like make sure you're putting your best foot forward and trying to at least scale to the table is my soapbox.
Yep.
Hell yeah, dude.
I can agree with that. Perfect. I like that.
All right.
I feel like we mutually contributed to it as we did this whole episode.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Well, I think maybe that's a good place to stop. Cody, thank you for coming on through. Glad we got the chance to yap with you for so long.
Yeah, thank y'all. Really appreciate it.
Who are you and what do you do?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well, when I went to therapy at like 13, I thought I was okay. Sorry. On the internet, I am Combat-Trick Cody, or CTC MTG on Bluesky. I do a podcast with my best friend Laz called Brew Review. We come together about once a month with some deck ideas or just a deck we want to cover. We kind of dissect it, go over like why we want to brew it, and one of us helps out the other by some card suggestions, things like that. It's usually a pretty good time. We just yap about our play group and things like that. So yeah, if you want to check us out, we're Brew Review MTG pretty much everywhere, on every podcast service. So anywhere you can find Here's Played Vibe Check, you can find Brew Review. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then you could find me at the Bloodrick Guy, and you can find Quinn at Girl Deck Energy, and us collectively at HBVC-MTG. Join us over on the MTG Lexicon Discord. We got a dedicated Heroes Blade Vibe Check channel where we got quite a few people contributing to stuff all the time. We've had a few people even join into the Discord to talk about Dan and Dan variants. And then you can check us out on MTG Lexicon on Saturdays playing Magic the Gathering. And I may or may not be part of the D&D lineup every 3 weeks or so, depending on how scheduling goes. It'll be pretty exciting to play with our new host, Missy. And Lenny might be joining us, maybe, depending. So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But yeah, go check that all out. As usual, all the decks and links and stuff will be in the episode description. And we'll see you on the next one.
Later, gamers.
Bye.